Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy, the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, to be specific. My name is Brian Engelman. That's Blake Walley. Today is Tuesday, December 10th, 2024, and this is the Agree to Disagree show. On today's program, we're going to discuss Agree or Disagree. Does Jay-Z deserve to be assumed innocent unless proven guilty? Agree or disagree, Luigi was framed for the murder of the healthcare CEO. Agree or disagree that Luigi was radicalized by the Unabomber and psychedelic drugs. Agree or disagree that we should feel joy for vigilante justice regarding the healthcare CEO. Agree or disagree that Daniel Penny got away with the murder of Jordan Neely in New York. Agree or disagree that we support Agree or disagree that we should support the BLM call for black vigilantes and nationwide protests. I get it. I got it eventually. Agree or disagree that Syria will be much better off now that Assad has fled the country. And agree or disagree that Liz Cheney should be given a pass for destroying J6 evidence. All of these topics and more will be discussed on today's show. All right, now, Blake, that last guy there, Joe Biggs, who is that guy again? Remind the viewers, and will he be underneath the umbrella of the J6 pardons that Trump is discussing right now? Or is he in a different class of person there? What was his story again, Joe Biggs?
So it was Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs, and he was like a war hero, I guess, and I forgot who used to be in. It was a former writer who got killed in L.A. by Brennan. Remember the guy with the engine? He got into the Mercedes. It was a journalist.
Michael Hastings.
Michael Hastings. There you go. So I think Michael Hastings, when he was a war correspondent journalist, was embedded with Joe Biggs's unit. I don't know if that was Afghanistan or Iraq or whatever. So, but Joe Biggs ended up getting a job at InfoWars, and then he also was involved in that, going down to Hastings to check out that whole big shit show down there.
By the way, so interesting here. Check this out. I had no idea. I'm trying to make sense of this. They're showing that his age, he was either born in 83 or 84. And he's either 40 or 41. How is that not commonly available information? That's an odd how do you do, I suppose. Anyway, but yeah, he was the last person in that intro video, and he got wrapped up in the J6 stuff. And Trump is out there telling people that, you know, he's going to be making some pardons. But he was sentenced to some higher end stuff. I think Biggs where it counts. What's up, Kenneth? Everybody else out there, please leave your comments. We like to insert them into the program. Yeah, we're definitely going to be talking about Daniel Penny. Penny, for your two thoughts. Blake, mystery date Wally. Oh, maybe it should be a Ryan, Ohio was I. I was. But yeah, Biggs was wrapped up in it. I think he got like 15 or 17 years. And I don't know if he's going to be covered under this J6 sweeping pardon blanket that you feel is on its way, Blake. So it just dawned on me while watching that, because I've been seeing the clips. Have you been watching President Trump discussing pardoning people that got caught in that entrapment situation that Pelosi and Cheney set up? We'll get to Cheney later today. Actually, let's just go to Cheney for the first topic. But thoughts on Biggs, and if you've heard Trump talking about the pardons.
Yeah, I did see part of that. I did not see the whole interview or a lot of those clips, and I should have. I forgot, but I did see the part of that one, or at least the headlines on it. So yeah, so Joe Biggs, Infowars, and then he went to the Proud Boys and became one of their higher ranking people. He was at J6 and got snagged up in that shit show, and he's been in jail ever since. So it's terrible. So hopefully he'll be released. He'll be pardoned day one, as Trump has said in this interview here.
Yeah, let's play this clip real quick here.
I'm going to look at everything. We're going to look at individual cases, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm going to be acting very quickly.
Within your first 100 days, first day?
First day.
First day.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Blake, pause it right there. But I mean, this is going to be first day stuff. This dude he's already getting everything squared away. Like, this is an oncoming freight train sliding down an icy mountainside. Like, there is no stopping what Trump is bringing on day one. Like, it went first 100 days. Minute number one, it's on the desk, and you already know what to do in minute one because I called you. It's done deal. Make it happen. There's going to be, I'm predicting sweeping, rapid, transformative change in a good way, Blake. Am I reading too much into this?
Not necessarily. We saw what happened when Biden took over, and he put it was like 50 executive orders on the first day. And Trump has, said he's going to be dictator just for a day on day one, so that he can pass these executive orders, as the incoming presidents usually do. Of course, the left took that and ran. He's going to be a dictator forever. No, but yeah, it's terrible that these J6 guys, a lot of them just peacefully walking into a building, had no idea what they were doing, and then just thrown into a gulag. A lot of them without charges. They're political prisoners, and they deserve to go free.
Yeah, it's just,
unless they were involved in some super violence, or there might be a few of them that did some bad stuff, and maybe they deserved it. Maybe they got their time served. I don't know, but a lot of those guys should be. They should be awarded something for having to suffer through that travesty of justice that was dished out by that horrible committee with Liz Cheney, who you just mentioned.
Yeah, Liz Cheney, indeed. Well, let's talk about Liz Cheney. Would we? Well, let me finish the Trump clip here, and then we'll talk about Cheney.
Issue these pardons.
These people have been there. How long is it? 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
By the way, they've been in there for years, and they're in a filthy, disgusting place that shouldn't even be allowed to be open. I'm going to look at it.
And that's the truth as well. These are inhumane conditions, cruel and unusual punishment, and they've been denied the right to a free and to a steady a speedy trial. What's the other word? A something in speedy, or I'm confusing too. But yeah, they have the right to a speedy trial. Like, they're coming after the Second Amendment right. They're coming after your right to self-defense when a madman is threatening everybody on a train car, or when they're burning down your city. They're literally coming after all of our God-given rights right now. And this pushback has been so necessary for so long on every single front. I can't believe we've allowed this stuff to happen, Blake. Are you surprised? Has this been happening since the inception, or has it been drastically worse under the Obama regime, the Obama doctrine of the past 20 years?
Well, it's all been bad to me ever since 9/11. And then there was the terror of the neocons. And then there was the radical leftists that took over when Obama came in. And then Trump to make America great again. And then all of a sudden it was the Obama regime through their puppet Biden taking over. And they almost went with Kamala. So now hopefully we get a restoration to sanity again with Trump. And I'll look forward to seeing what he can do on day one. But certainly we've got to support the idea that and it's just the double standard. Like, these are political prisoners. So they don't deserve to be in there. And it's at this filthy, awful place. This is not a third world country. They shouldn't be treated like that.
Yeah. Prisoners, if they've ended up in a situation, they should be in a safe, clean facility with a focus on getting them rehabbed and getting out. When you get to Jordan Neely, which we will, I mean, what was it? 100 different arrests, clearly out of his mind, violence, scaring everybody there. And it's just, everything's upside down. You're letting these people out to terrorize the good citizens, the good residents of New York, getting absolutely brutalized and terrorized by crazy people, by madmen, clinically ill people that need to be in a care facility, not a place you can check yourself out of, which he did, allegedly. I think that's common knowledge, but I think so. We have been completely upside down on almost every relevant topic, from healthcare. Look, we can talk about MAGA, Maha, and bringing Bobby Kennedy in, but we can also talk about the CEO in a company that wants your money, but they're not going to give you the coverage. What are we even doing here? Who's denying a single person that needs whatever the best is that you have to help them get back to the best version of them that they can? Don't get them hooked on bullshit pills the rest of their life. If there's an underlying issue, get them. Like, everything about our country has been upside down. And that's so much bigger than Republican, Democrat. It's so much bigger than Donald Trump is. He's such a dick. I don't know. He's ripped on like 20 people. He acts like a child. It's so much bigger than that. Blake, this thing that I pulled up here on the X feed, by the way, if you're not following the Agree to Disagree show, you're missing out. Find us on Spotify, download the podcast and subscribe. Rumble, The New American Media, YouTube, The New American Media, Signal and Telegram, TNAM and TNAM Chat, Truth Social, The New American Media. But Blake, regarding this, agree or disagree with everything being upside down, do you think that January 6th will ultimately, and I mean within the first 100 days of Trump being in office and going after everybody like Liz Cheney that rigged this thing, completely set up entrapment, treason, all of this stuff, that in 100 days, January 6th will go down in history as the day that the government staged a riot to cover up the fact that they certified a fraudulent election? Maybe we don't see that now, but would you agree or disagree with the statement on the screen that maybe within 100 days, in all of the subpoenas and all of the indictments and all of the trials and all of the evidence being declassified, do you think this will be something that we will agree with?
I believe, yes, if they went over all of the evidence and all the stuff the J6 committee didn't want to talk about, or they buried the evidence or what have you, if you look at everything, it's going to take a long time to unravel. That I would agree absolutely with that graphic meme there.
I don't know that it will take a long time to unravel. We've unraveled it over 4 years. It's all just sitting here being blocked by Mayorkas and Biden and, pick your laundry.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that is. I think the coup was on November 3rd. I think that was a very questionable election. They didn't allow us to really even, talk about it, or it was, the most safe and secure election ever, even though now we've seen like how ridiculous the spikes were as far as the amount of votes that came in that day. And a lot of them, when they stopped counting in the middle of the night and mail-in drop-off boxes. So a lot of people had very big questions with that. We thought that was going to be just an easy landslide. Trump was going to take it. And all of a sudden it shocked the world that Joe Biden all of a sudden got 81 million verified votes and you weren't allowed to talk about it. So that set the stage for January 6th and why so many people were outraged and they thought that they had had the election stolen from them. So they showed up and then they refused to let the National Guard come in there. That could have secured the perimeter. Nothing ever would have happened that day. But that never happened. It seemed, and then they had Ray Epps, these little agitators, looked like there's clearly a Fed, trying to get people to do stupid things. And they got a few people to do stupid things. And then they turned the whole narrative around. That it was Trump trying to, organize an insurrection, which is a violent overthrow, like an armed overthrow of a government. That's not what it was.
There was one shot fired that day, and it was from the inside, shooting an unarmed veteran mother through a locked door and glass.
Right.
But regarding Cheney, Blake, what do we want to say specifically about her? Because she's in the news now. They're talking about her specifically because she released a very interesting statement that sounds like a warning or a threat or a plea. And I'm just sitting here laughing. I looked at Obama give a speech a couple of days ago. The dude looks like a drowned rat. He looks old. He looks frail. He looks sick. He looks terrified of what's coming. And when I see Cheney putting stuff out here like this, I'm going, oh my God, hand me the popcorn. I want first row. I hope I'm in the lottery where I get to pull a ticket and participate in this somehow. I don't know in what capacity, but I feel like gloriousness is coming towards us. But anyway, let's talk about Liz Cheney.
Right. So she's pushing back here. She's saying ridiculous and false. And you got, Liz Cheney and Adam Schiff, of course, are pushing back after Trump says the January 6th committee members should be jailed. And then Adam Kinzinger said, oh, bring it on. Yeah, that's big words.
Oh, yeah. I agree, Adam. I agree there should be penalties for what you've done to drag our country through this bullshit for all of these years. Oh, yeah, Adam. We'll bring it on. I think that's what happened in the massive mandate, the landslide that just occurred in this last election. If you haven't noticed, the winds of change have come. I'd say good sir, but you're not a good sir. You're a piece of shit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I have no room in my life, no room in my headspace for pieces of shit like Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Barack Hussein Obama, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden. Fuck all of those people and all of the lies that they've pushed. They've tried to say, hey, anyone that disagrees with you on this topic, they're a Nazi. They're an evil person. They're a monster. They're crazy. They're dangerous. They're going to steal your democracy. Fuck these people. They're not even people. They've acted like demons. And the shit that they've done, they have committed legitimate crimes, legitimate criminal activity, dragging our country through this bullshit that has caused so much brain damage to the people who have watched MSNBC, CNN, listen to their high school and college professors, brainwash them into lies. Like Trump says, go drink bleach. He never fucking said that. Well, Trump called Nazis fine people. He never fucking said that. And they based their entire campaign on, hey, did you see what happened in Minnesota with that cop? Burn the country down because everyone opposing you is a monster. Fuck these people. And yes, I think the hammer of justice is coming. It can't get here fucking fast enough. Put them in jail, make it a pay-per-view event, leave them there for fucking ever. Treason has serious consequences. What they were doing was not just regular political back and forth. They weren't just, I don't know, dirty tricks or I don't know. I called in a favor and they messed with your advertisement and your commercial didn't run properly. No, that's like some normal bullshit. You're framing these people for treason. You're locking them up in deplorable conditions with no speedy trial based on a fucking entrapment that you used to cloud everything that you did to rig the 2020 election. Did it cause a difference in the ultimate tally in votes? Well, no court of law has been able to prove that, Blake. And that's what we were banned from saying. We weren't allowed to have any fucking opinion on this. We were silenced and erased from social media. Can't publish, can't monetize. How about go fuck yourself, America? That's how the Democrats treated us. Who was right about COVID? Who was right about the theft in 2020? Who's been right about 95% of the shit that those assholes on CNN and MSNBC have been saying to us? Who's been right? Who has a good batting average? Who's getting the Juan Soto-sized Mets contract? What, almost $800 million for a guy that can barely play defense? Who has a batting average that's kicking ass, Blake? I think you and I have been damn near spot on most of these stories. Meanwhile, they have been lying to us. So yeah, I think it's time, Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney. I think your criminal activity, when you tried to frame innocent people, That's about to become blowback. Ron Paul talks about blowback. That's why you're not supposed to be Team America World Police, because eventually you'll have blowback. Well, guess what? You picked the wrong team. You picked the wrong group of criminals to align yourselves with, and you dragged our country. You distracted us. You dragged us through the mud. You've abused us. And your day's coming. Blake, go ahead. I'm going to stop talking now. I think you get I think you get the gist of where I'm thinking on this one.
Yeah, I got you. I think I would agree with that. Well done, Brian. Deb says not to sugarcoat it. Next time.
Sugarcoat it. I'm literally getting a lozenge because I'm like yelling. But Blake, for 4 years, we've been lied to about almost every relevant point that has shaped our political philosophy. For 4 years, almost every single narrative has been a legitimate gaslighting campaign. And I'm so sick of it. And the people, we just need to move on. We shouldn't be divisive in the next term. If we don't punish these people for the treason they have committed, they're going to do it again. Make an example out of them, make it pay-per-view, and you tell everybody, look at what they've done. Look at what criminal courts, military tribunals have had full access to a wide and robust attempt at a defense. You're not going to railroad through these unselect committees like that bullshit Pelosi and Schiff and Kinzinger were trying to pass off as a commission to frame Trump to make sure he can't win this term, which he did because he won 2020. By the way, for countervailing views, please visit cisa.gov/rumor control regarding elections. Go to the WHO website, who.int, and cdc.gov for all medical issues, and cdc.gov/vaccines, specifically regarding vaccine-related medical claims and political implications. I have to read that script like I got a gun to my fucking head, because we're not allowed to exist on social media unless we do that shit. We jump through those hoops, because that's how rigged the media, the social media, the legacy media, any distribution method of any communication has been completely seized by the people who've been setting this country up to fail, to take your $1 billion and piss it away to Africa, to here, to there, to Ukraine, to Israel, to fucking everywhere but North Carolina, to everywhere but Hawaii. With $1 billion, could you take everybody who's been displaced, buy them a quarter-acre lot and build them a tiny house and help them get their life in order? Of course you fucking can. But you haven't done that. You've been stealing our money like a goddamn pirate. Blake, their day is coming. Their day is here. We don't need time to unpack this. It's unpacked. We see it. We know it. They must suffer the penalty of the criminal activity that they participated in. They started this shit. Okay, for the 10th time, I think I'm done. I got to stop doing this. But it's brought out something in me, because you're thinking about someone sitting in a rat-infested, fucking moldy, musty, damp, dark piece of shit basement somewhere. They haven't even had a chance to get their defense, and it's been 4 fucking years. And they're coming for every one of us if we let them. This election was a big double-barreled middle finger saying, you better back the fuck off. The rattlesnake tail, the don't tread on me, that was the biggest rattlesnake tail shake you've ever fucking seen. And by the way, pass the SAVE Act, and let's see how big it really would have been if they weren't still pulling their shit in the big blue cities. Blake, there's fundamental transformation that's possible right now. And I'm just hopeful that we take advantage of it. And we hit the ground running on day 1, minute 1, hour 1, go. Oh, you mean in the first 100 days? No, bitch. I mean in the first 60 seconds. Everybody at my command knows exactly what's expected. Go. That's what I want to see. Deb from SAC is saying, I think Mike's rubbing off on Brian. Now, Deb, you might be new to the party, but I've been Brian for since way before I knew Mike Barra. But perhaps, yes. But when we love something, we're passionate about it. When we're right and we're being fucked with, and we ask and we push and we put some distance, maybe we take a step backward. At some point, the colonists have to say, we've repeatedly requested that you stop doing what you're doing. You messed around and now you're going to find out. Okay. Like Liz Cheney, I think we were talking about.
Yeah. All right. Yes. So
I need a sponsor for cough drops because, wow, that was a lot more than I had anticipated.
yeah, that was quite a while, quite a rant there, Brian. Well done. Yeah. So yeah, I totally agree, Brian. They should definitely have some retribution, and they did it to themselves. I would agree with there. And they had their day, and they tried to lie about a narrative and put innocent people in jail, and they tried to undermine and destroy our democracy.
And they
Our
wanted
republic,
to,
while saying
they wanted to force vaccinate us, and they've put 30 million non-Americans into this country. It's like everything you could imagine that they're doing. They're doing it all at once. Also, yeah, the J6 thing. But every one of our current stories are connected to J6 because that was such a central pivot point to turn into the clusterfuck that it is today. But a lot of people say, and maybe I would tend to agree, what's happened now because of the blowback of what they've done and what we all see with our own two eyes that they've done, it's going to be so much more powerful and effective right now with the House, with the Senate, with the SCOTUS, and the will of the people angry after watching them thinking, we'll never lose an election again. Well, now it feels like we're going to be able to do 10 times as much as we could have if he would have won in 2020. I think that's for certain because all their lies have fallen apart, Blake.
Yeah, now it's time to expose all those lies and, fix this country. And so, yes, those people are going to they deserve some jail time, especially if they're caught with deleting and destroying evidence. Yeah, that's pretty bad news. So that's the J6 committee. That's what they were involved in to protect themselves and the narrative and to turn everything against Trump. They orchestrated this whole shit show and charade. And yeah, with Liz Cheney and Kinzinger and Adam Schiff, all those people, it's time.
If we call him pencil neck Schiff, Shifty Schiff.
Yep. So, yeah. So Liz Cheney said President Trump flooding jail time for her and other members of the January 6th committee is a continuation of his assault on the rule of law. That's rich coming from somebody who destroyed and deleted evidence to smear your political enemy.
Oh, they committed big time crimes in deleting their evidence. All the stuff they covered up, all the stuff when they added sound effects from Hollywood to make it sound way different than it actually was. Oh, it was a crappy Hollywood production from day one. When Trump asked for 10,000 National Guard troops repeatedly, listen to Kash Patel. He'll tell you all about it. He requested all the troops. We want this to be a nice, safe place. I go, nah, we got other plans. Who opened those big magnetic doors? Who was Ray Epps? Yeah, we could go down the laundry list. Yeah, but it's Donald Trump who's running an assault. Funny, Cheney from the neocon Cheney family, from the former rulers of the world Cheney family. These people thought they had everything under control, except they forgot. You could almost do whatever you want in foreign lands. You could almost pull off any Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Vietnam, go down the laundry list, Berlin. You could just do whatever you want. But when you turn your eyes inward and attack the American citizens, see, that's where it's not okay. When the inflation makes it impossible for us to get by anymore, we'll get to the CEO Luigi story in a minute. You done fucked up. You can pull away any stunt that you want if you take care of the people inside of the gates. But when you start turning on the people inside the gates and literally going after them and framing them, you done fucked up. And I think that's what Cheney and them have done. They've played their last card. They're toast, man. Not to count chickens before they hatch, but and by the way, I would love to ask President Trump to change whatever policy needs to be voted on, however the procedure is done, that when you're done in office, you're escorted out by security and the new team comes in. This 2-month lame duck period is for the birds, man. Would you agree with that one?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is normally how it's supposed to go. But yes, we've had some infiltrators meddling around, and you can't start wars. And there's got to be some kind of they could change a few things. I just don't think it's going to be that quick of a transition. It does take some time.
Yeah.
But it's also, during that, when it's a one-term presidency, that's also a different setup too. So I don't know. We're all supposed to be on the same team for the greater good of the country, but that's not how things have turned into. So now it's this other regime. You got the pro-America crowd making America great again, like Trump, and then you've got all these other, basically globalists, whether they're neocons or radical leftists, that seem to want to transform this country, which everything that made it great.
Yeah, take away everything that made us great and sovereign, independent, happy, successful, community-oriented, commonsensical. I mean, they try to destroy the families. They try to destroy common sense, logic, reason, manliness. Anyway, the HuffPost put this out. She says, tonight I say this to my Republican colleagues who are Republican colleagues. Wasn't she voted out of office? What colleagues? The fired people that nobody wants to represent?
She lost the primary. Yeah.
I mean, got blown out. I don't know if you can look up it was like 73.
Yeah, she lost to another Republican.
Got her ass kicked. But she's saying, tonight I say this to my Republican colleagues who are defending the indefensible. There will come a day when Donald Trump is gone, but your dishonor will remain. Blake, she's saying it's people supporting Trump who have dishonor. Do you agree with that, or do you think Miss Cheney has dishonor?
Nope. I thought her father should have been in prison 20 years ago. So, and she's just an extension of that tyrant. Bad news. And yeah, she's putting out her own thing. Oh yeah, Donald Trump, he mobilized an angry mob, lie, to send them to the United States Capitol where they attacked police officers, lie, invaded the building and halted the official counting of electoral votes. And then Trump watched on television as officers were brutally beaten and the Capitol was assaulted, refusing for hours to tell the mob to leave. That's just all bullshit. So Cheney's response following Trump's joining Meet the Press for a pre-recorded interview, saying that he railed against Cheney, committee chairman Benny Thompson, and others who deleted and destroyed evidence related to the J6 investigation and should go to jail. Yeah, she's not allowed to destroy and delete evidence and then make up her own bullshit narrative. So that's grounds for, jail time of your own. And they're the ones that just destroyed the rule of law and went after and politicized this whole event and tried to get away with some pretty nasty stuff. And it could have destroyed the whole country with all of this. And had Trump not won, then he would be, targeted. Those people would never get out of jail from J6. Trump would have they would have found something on him. This doesn't matter what. It could have been just some, mob thing or what have you, to destroy him and then start targeting everybody else that was, MAGA, Patriot, what have you. So you can only imagine the amount of destruction they would have done to this republic had they continued to stay in power, which, they're still in their little lame duck session, but everything's being exposed, and Trump will be sworn in January, and then we can get to work, and they better lawyer up or may want to consider, I don't know if they can flee the country. Where are they going to go? Right.
Let's hear from, they're saying Cheney, Schiff push back after President Trump says J6 committee members should be jailed. Here's their frame of mind.
Over the weekend, former President Trump in an interview suggested that January 6 members should be jailed. Do you have any reaction to that? And do you think that a preemptive pardon is necessary?
Well, I'll take it one at a time.
He's going to take it one at a time. I don't know if I want to ask your thoughts on a preemptive pardon. We'll get his thoughts first, then I want to ask you about your thoughts on what they're trying to do now is maybe try to blanket pardon everybody behind them, like a cloak of invisibility, so they can try to evade justice. Oh, hell no. But here we go.
Okay. First of all, former to-be President Trump is absolutely wrong. There's nothing we did as a January 6th select committee that violates the law.
And by the way, they did run all of the Trump supporting people out. There was no adequate defense presented. So no, they did not provide an actual trial or an actual investigation. This was a setup from the beginning.
Just because you disagree with the work of the committee.
No, it wasn't work. It was framing somebody. It was trying to frame somebody.
There's no way to threaten those members of the committee with jail. So obviously that's his opinion. As to whether or not President Biden does anything with respect to that, it's his decision. I'm comfortable with the fact that as members of Congress, we were doing our job. And as long as we do our job, there are certain guarantees that we have. And I look forward to enforcing those guarantees.
Now, Adam Schiff, he said that he thinks that a preemptive pardon isn't necessary. Do you agree with that? Do you think it's not necessary?
And by the way, if Adam Schiff is saying that a preemptive pardon is not necessary, I would always expect the opposite. So, yeah, I bet they're definitely trying to push that right now.
Necessary?
Well, he's a member of the committee. He's absolutely has his right. I think that's a decision that is left to the president.
And then what do you make of Kash Patel? How concerned are you if he were to get confirmed to hold this FBI position?
Well, again, I think people in positions of responsibility to carry out those responsibilities according to the statute. I don't think you have to go against individuals because you dislike them or they take positions you disagree with. As a nation of laws, clearly we stand strong on the principles of freedom of speech, assembly, and all those things that are guaranteed by the Constitution. And obviously I would expect someone in his position to do likewise.
So there you have it, Blake. Any thoughts on any of that? Any of the prevailing, the comments he had specifically, and then of course, like I said earlier, thoughts on this preemptive pardon thing. Oh yeah, for 11 years of criminality and 600,000 dead, and my family members getting rich off of dead Ukrainians. No, blanket pardon, 11 years worth. You know what? Preempt since he was born, and in perpetuity until he's in the ground, he'll have immunity. It's like they're throwing a bunch of spaghetti at the wall, hoping something sticks. I don't know how valid any of this is. So any direction you want to take it, and we can move on to the next topic.
Well, I would just say Benny better lawyer up. He's going to have a lot of explaining to do, along with other people in that committee. And yeah, Americans deserve answers. And I don't believe in any of this preemptive pardon stuff. That's just insane to me. So it's like, unless you've been convicted of something, or if you're wrongfully accused, or you're in jail on a way too harsh of a sentence, or there's plenty of reasons to give people pardons. But if you're preemptively pardoning, then you're basically, feels like you're admitting that they're guilty. And then you're saying it's okay. And then there's things, oh, well, I'm the president, so it's blanket immunity, so you can never come after them for anything. Bullshit. I don't think that should count at all. Not that I'm a lawyer, but that seems like way too much.
Yeah, I agree. And, I've wondered, Blake, if the reason why the Republican leadership has been so slow to act in charging Biden with corruption and treason and money laundering and all sorts of, selling your influence. I mean, it really is treason. Maybe the reason they didn't bring the charges is because they were waiting until they had all of the Senate, the House, POTUS, and then bring the charges. Now that would make sense. But then, these guys are trying to just blanket immunity. Oh, I'm crossing my fingers. You can't see me. You can't. Oh, nope. Can't touch me. I'm doing this. It's like a game of tag. I'm touching the pole. Can't touch it. Oh, no, I'm good. I'm safe. I'm safe. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Well, you brought up people being wrongly accused. I want to pivot to probably the most, God, there's so many important stories. Let's talk about Daniel Penny, not guilty. All right, Blake, would you agree or disagree that Daniel Penny got away with the murder of Jordan Neely in New York? Agree or disagree? Daniel Penny got away with murder of Jordan Neely in New York. And by the way, if you're watching, however you're watching the show, hit like, hit subscribe, and type in your comments section, agree or disagree. We want you to answer this as well. So type A and then the colon or whatever, whatever that is, the double dots. Answer it. Do you agree or disagree that Daniel Penny got away with murder of Jordan Neely in New York? And tell us why. So, Blake, what say you?
I'm going to disagree there. If that Neely guy wasn't creating a ruckus and threatening people on the subway, then none of this stuff ever would have happened. We would not know who Daniel Penny was. He was I would say, a reluctant hero. It's just unfortunate. I don't know whether he didn't intend to kill the guy. He was trying to restrain him because he was freaking out and terrorizing everybody on this subway.
And then he was alive in police custody, and it was police that did not choose to administer resuscitative measures. Some of the stories, they didn't have the right personal protection equipment, and they didn't want to contract something with him. I don't know if they knew at the time this guy had roughly been arrested 100 times. But Daniel Penny didn't even kill him. And the way he described it was he was restrained, in Daniel Penny's own words, and he kind of walks through. If you go on yesterday's post for @American_media_, follow the New American Media on X at American_media_. In his own words, he says he restrained him and he had him, and there was someone else helping too. And as the person that he was restraining, as that fight back got lessened, his grip lessened. And so when the guy was able to calm down, it's not like he choked him out and kept choking him out and choked him out and kept elbowing him in the face. Like, that wasn't what was happening here. And he was handed to police, still alive. These are the details as I understand them. I don't claim to be an expert on the case. If there's something I'm getting wrong, let me know, type in the comments, but that's my general understanding of it. But
okay, I wasn't aware of that detail. So if this was a UFC fight, these chokeholds happen all the time, and one guy submits, or the referee will intervene because some guys don't want to tap out, and then they'll go to sleep.
And the referees were the police. As soon as there was a stop that they could come on, that was when the referees came in.
Right. So sometimes you're just in that moment, and who knows? But it's a tragedy. But then it got weird because they started to just try to go after this guy, Daniel Penny. So, like, he just intentionally murdered him. That was not, and the way that they tried to mess with the facts of this whole incident and then try to make it sound like the other guy was a victim was insane. Yeah, it's too bad he died, but he was like this crazy homeless guy who had a giant rap sheet and had been causing problems for years. And yeah, he has another violent, dangerous incident, gets restrained, dies in the fray, and then, it's too bad. This guy, I don't want to say he's a hero or what have you. He is. It's just, it's tough circumstances. And it was very scary there for a long time that they were going to try to ruin, just like Kyle Rittenhouse, who defended himself. Yeah, it sucks. Some people died, but he was well within his rights to defend himself. And they tried to make him out to be a monster. And that was terrifying down to the last minute. Like, are they going to throw this guy away for life? So they wanted, the prosecutor wanted to, get after Penny. So fortunately, the jury found that he was not guilty in this death of Jordan Neely. So, yeah, but we didn't know. So he's not guilty of criminally negligent homicide in the death of Jordan Neely and is now a free man. You had Manhattan Assistant DA, this crazy lady, Daphne Yoren's gambit to avoid a mistrial by dropping a manslaughter charge against Penny in a bid to secure a conviction on a lesser charge failed. So had she struck with the manslaughter charge and allowed a mistrial to be declared, District Attorney Alvin Bragg, there's that name, could have tried him again in a second trial with a biased jury, potentially securing a conviction. So I don't know. Why don't we check this one out? Colin Rudd showing the victory. I didn't get to see anything much of Daniel Penny making any statements or anything. But here we go.
How you feeling?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's feeling good.
What's up? Come together. How's it going? How's it feel?
Feels great. He's finally got the justice he's deserved.
Did you think it was going to happen?
Sorry?
Yeah, he seems like a nice, kind of awkward, little camera shy. He's kind of introverted. He was like a reluctant, like somebody had to step in, and he was, the guy who was trained to go do something.
He actually sounds like a fairly well. Here, let me play you a clip of this, and I think in that moment he's been advised, and they're doing the right thing. Just let me talk for you. If people are coming up, like we're gonna let this simmer down. Don't make any direct statements. But this was Daniel Penny in his own words. If you want to know at least his side of the story, you can't really get the other side of the story. You can get the other side of the story from that elderly black lady who said that the deceased was terrorizing everybody and she feared for her life, and she called Daniel Penny a hero for helping her. And but here he is in his own words. Like I think he's, when you said he's a little awkward and a little shy and this and that. Okay, yeah, that being said, but he strikes me as a significant guy. Just listening to him talk. Here we go.
So I take the subway multiple times a day. In this instance, I was coming from school. I got out of class around 2:15, and I took I was at J Street Metro Tech, took the Uptown F train. At 2nd Avenue, a man came on, stumbled on. He appeared to be on drugs. The doors closed, and he ripped his jacket off and threw it at the people sitting down to my left. I was listening to music at the time, and he was yelling, so I took my headphones out to hear what he was yelling. And the three main threats that he repeated over and over was, "I'm going to kill you. I'm prepared to go to jail for life, and I'm willing to die."
Okay, Blake, those three phrases. Like, what is somebody supposed to do? They're hearing, "I'm going to kill you.
I'm prepared to go to jail for life, and I'm willing to die."
What do you do with that if you're in a situation where instantly somebody thrusts themselves into your life? You didn't ask for this, and now do you take this seriously, or you just brush it off and put your head down and hope he doesn't decide to do something to you this day?
Yeah, I mean, if it's on a subway in New York and there's no security or police or anything, yeah, it's gonna be kind of like me or them. And you're in that position, and there's innocent people around there, women, and I don't know if there's children, but whatever. There's innocent people standing there being terrorized by this guy who's out of his mind, whether it's drugs or schizophrenia or what have you. Who knows? There's no time to ask questions and to reason. He starts freaking out. You got to restrain the dude. And it was maybe just a little too much restraining. But I mean, that's kind of the situation. You got to defend yourself against the threat until it stops.
Yep.
There is no UFC referee to call the fight.
Well, we'll let him continue in his own words. The question being, Daniel Penny got away with the murder of Jordan Neely, and in the chat, Kenneth said, "Answer: No, he'd be cool and a hero." Yeah, I would tend to agree. Here he goes, continuing his story. This guy comes on and starts saying all this stuff.
Three main threats that he repeated over and over was, "I'm going to kill you. I'm prepared to go to jail for life, and I'm willing to die." This was a scary situation, and Mr. Neely came on. He was threatening. I'm 6'2", and he was taller than me, so it was. And there's a common misconception that Marines don't get scared. We're actually taught one of our core values is courage, and courage is not the absence of fear, but how you handle fear. And, I was scared that Marines don't get scared.
Blake, comment on that. People have a misconception that Marines don't get scared. What they say is...
We're actually taught one of our core values is courage, and courage is not the absence of fear, but how you handle fear.
Courage is not the absence of fear, but how you handle fear.
Seems like good philosophy to me, I suppose. Yeah, that's what they teach the Marines. Because you're going to be in scary situations. You're going to be a soldier out in the combat. You're going to be in fierce situations that you can't control. So you can only control yourself, I suppose. So yeah, in those situations where you got someone aggressive like that, sometimes you got to turn on and be more aggressive. And that's what happens. So he followed with his training. He doesn't sound like some total asshole who's just looking to bully around. And I didn't know Neely. I thought Neely was a small. I don't know what size he was, but if he's 6'2" and he says Neely's bigger than him, yeah. Because if I was on that subway, it's like, what am I gonna do? Like, yeah, I can maybe do something, but I'm gonna need help. But if you got a trained military young man like him, a 6'2" big guy, then yeah, hopefully he can join in. So it's gonna take a team.
Yeah, and there were more than one person. There was at least one guy, I think it was a black guy, that was at least keeping one arm restrained so that he could. I think I've seen that. At least one other person was participating.
And, I was scared for myself, but I looked around. I saw women and children. He was yelling in their face.
Okay, so yeah, he said he did see women and children, and he's in their faces yelling in the faces of women, yelling in the faces of children, coming on announcing, I'm ready to go to jail. I'm going to kill you and I'm ready to die. And it's like, whoa, man. Like, how long do you sit back and let him make the first move?
Yeah, you can't take that kind of risk. So, but yeah, again, he doesn't seem like the aggressive type who was looking for something, but that's kind of how it has to happen. You kind of get backed into a corner, you're threatened, and you see the rest, you read the room and you spring in. And that's where it should have ended. Like, there never should have been a trial and all this other BS.
Agreed. And Alvin Bragg needs to get indicted for what he's been doing to the justice system, trying to take the civil liberties of good people, framing Trump, framing Penny, just go. The question in the comments here is from Kenneth. Trump to bring back asylums? Yes, make asylums great again. If you've been arrested 100 times and you're off your rocker, you don't have the ability to hang out in general population anymore. You just don't. The women, children, elderly, like, people have a right to be left alone. People have a right to be left alone. Motivate to Succeed says, I stand with Luigi. We're going to get right to the Luigi story once we finish this one up. A little bit more of Daniel Penny in his own words, and we will move on to that story. Deb from SAC is saying, these are not reasonable people. No, there's completely out of their minds, whether they're on fentanyl, whether they're ODing, whether they're having a mental lapse, whether they're on psychedelic drugs. There's 100 reasons. Anyway, Daniel Penny continues.
You can't reason with crazy people.
No. You cannot reason with crazy. And Blake, you were in Los Angeles. Did you have any uncomfortable, crazy encounters? I had several.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas, LA. Yeah, you'll definitely. There's always some wacky people around there for sure.
All right, good point. Vegas too. All right.
How you handle fear, and I was scared for myself, but I looked around. I saw women and children. He was yelling in their faces, saying these threats. I couldn't just sit still. Some people say that I was holding on to Mr. Neely for 15 minutes. This is not true. I mean, between stops is only a couple minutes. So the whole interaction lasted less than 5 minutes. Some people say I was trying to choke him to death, which is also not true. I was trying to restrain him. You can see in the video, there's a clear rise and fall of his chest, indicating that he's breathing. I'm trying to restrain him from him being able to carry out the threats. And then some people say that this was about race, which is absolutely ridiculous. I didn't see a black man threatening passengers. I saw a man threatening passengers, a lot of whom were people of color.
There you have it. Daniel Penny in his own words. And that's one side of the story, of course. And I don't know. Did you have Hawk Newsom's? I guess that's the next we could pivot into that. Well, where's it at?
There's a couple other parts of that, I think, in the captions there.
All right. Let's talk about BLM and their support for Black vigilantes, nationwide protests. Blake, do you agree or disagree that you support the BLM call for Black vigilantes and nationwide protests?
Absolutely not. Disagree strongly. This is not one of those things at all. Sure, there are some innocent Black people that are victims of hate crime or what have you, but this is clearly not one of them, not even close. And so, but you still got these people, these opportunists that are out there trying to cause problems. Let's pull this story up here. Here we go. BLM leader calls for Black vigilantes after Daniel Penny verdict, despite the group denouncing the riot allegations. So, yeah, we got Black Lives Matter Greater New York co-founder Hawk Newsome. He looks
Not to be
scary.
confused with Hawk Tua from our Thursday episode.
No, not at all. So I don't know. Let's watch him and his words as he reacts to.
And by the way, when you listen to the words, listen to his one hype lady. He's got one hype lady with him.
Yeah.
It's very sad. It's very sad.
Just like everybody else has vigilantes, we need some black vigilantes.
That's right.
People want to jump up and choke us and kill us for being loud.
How about this guy needs to get his ass kicked for being a loud jack off, maybe.
For being for being loud, Blake.
Right.
He's saying that being loud.
Yeah, that's exactly how he frames it. He switches it. So it's a guy threatening everybody, and he was just a loud guy on the subway, and then he just got choked out by this guy. It's amazing how they frame this. Terrible. And it's just disgrace to good activists that are standing up for the rights of maybe disenfranchised people. And these grifters that have taken over that organization. And now they're calling for what? The nationwide protests for this guy? I mean, can't they just be honest about, who he was? He was a crazy homeless guy he was a criminal. Why would people want to go and protest for that?
And by the way, Kelly Thomas was beaten to death by 2 Fullerton, California officers on camera with audio. It's terrible. He had been arrested several times. He had his mental health issues. He was not threatening people. He was sitting on a curb in the park, and the cops put gloves on to make sure they didn't get blood on him when they pummeled him to death in the parking lot, almost like American History X, like stomping the curb. That was a case where someone should not have been abused into their death. This is a case where this guy, this Neely, with over 100 arrests, I believe, has been abusing the residents of New York over and over and literally threatening them with their lives. We have a right to self-defense in this country. You do not have the right to threaten my life. You don't have that right, especially, I don't know you. I don't know what you have in your pocket. I don't know what you're capable of. I'm not going to take the chance. Since what you intend to do to me, I'm going to take you at your word. You're right, Blake. There are real activists out there that can frame an issue and be honest about it. There's nothing honest about the way this guy is presenting himself, and he's calling for racial hate crimes. He's calling for nationwide hate crimes. There's no way to sugarcoat. He wants black vigilantes to go after white people because Penny was white. He wants to get one back. It's very obvious what is happening here, and I'm wondering, when is he going to get indicted?
There you go.
There's something there. Inciting violence, of course.
All right, well, let's let him continue here.
Tired. I know you're looking for us to be like, oh, go and march. Go and march. No. This weekend, I want you to hold a community event everywhere from the Bronx to Houston to Seattle to Florida. Black people hold community events and talk about what you need.
Okay, then.
You need protection from people who are going to come up in your face and threaten to kill you. That's what you need protection from, asshole. That's what you need to be protected from. The woman on that train, I believe she was an older lady, maybe middle-aged, maybe elderly. She called Daniel Penny a hero. Thankfully, someone was there to protect her. God knows how that could have turned out. That's what we need in every community, is to protect peaceful people from the crazy violent ones. That's it, bro. That is it.
Yeah, I hear you. This is interesting. The community notes for the win. Elon Musk sharing this because this is where there's some of these like leftist activists. This lady, Tiffany, was saying Jordan Neely deserved better than the violence of being denied access to stable housing and healthcare and then dehumanized it for it. Jordan Neely deserved better than the systems that allow for extrajudicial white supremacist violence against black people. What the fuck are you talking about? This is a BLM hoax. There's plenty of like homeless people that have, mental health issues and this and that. So it's not like he was just denied access to anything. But yeah, he probably should have been, institutionalized.
Yes.
So he wasn't out amongst the public because he's had so many violent incidents. And here's what it says. The community note says, as part of a plea agreement with prosecutors this a few years ago, after he punched a 67-year-old woman in the street. And then Neely was given.
By the way, if you punch a 67-year-old, a punch can kill a person outside of a bar when you're 21. A punch to a 67-year-old can kill them. That's an attempted murder. But you're being too loose with that. No, I would say any punk that punches a 67-year-old can piss off. I'm gonna consider the worst about a person that would just cold cock an innocent 67-year-old. Anyway, I'm sorry, Blake. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, it said that after that incident, Jordan Neely was given free access to stable housing and healthcare at a treatment facility in the Bronx, which he abandoned after 13 days. So some people, there's no fixing crazy.
No, there's not. And when I was in the Bronx reporting for Real America's Voice and the New American Media, of the day that Donald Trump went out there prior to the Libertarian Convention, I spoke with a resident whose elderly friend was hit in the head with a pipe, a metal pipe, I think she said on the subway. And she's been messed up ever since. Ruined this lady's life because a crazy guy on the subway is allowed to run amok. The people of the Bronx who were mentioned in this story, he had a facility that he could have used in the Bronx. These people are sick and tired of people like District Attorney Alvin Bragg using political lawfare to go after Barack Hussein Obama's political opponent, the Obama-Harris opponent, to destroy them over trumped-up charges, to frame him, while they're letting people like this Neely guy punch 67-year-olds, pistol whip pregnant ladies, run in front of people's faces saying, I'm ready to go to jail, I'm going to kill you, and I don't care if I die. Like, the people who are letting the criminal element back into general population, the Alvin Braggs, Letitia Jameses, these people have literal blood on their hands. These people need to be recalled, removed, indicted themselves for civil rights violations. If you knowingly are putting violent, crazy people back into general population after 100 arrests, after pistol whipping a pregnant lady, like what you're doing to the community. There has to be some sort of accountability to the prosecutors, the district attorneys, the sentencing guidelines, to the ones that don't prioritize the safety of the children, the ladies, the elderly, and just some random white dude coming home from school. We all deserve the protection in this country. We deserve basic freedom of egress and to just kind of come and go unmolested. And these district attorneys that are just continuing, defund the police, don't charge anybody with anything. Yeah, charge all the violent, crazy people as much as you can and keep them away from the good people. I hate seeing crimes that should have never happened, and this should have never happened. It wasn't a crime. Guy was a hero for protecting the people on that train during that guy's episode. But this Hawk Newsom calling for retaliatory justice vigilantism based on a guy who defended a random car full of Bronx or New York subway riders. I mean, come on, man. You should be giving this guy a medal. You shouldn't be giving him grief.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And yeah, according to this article, the Federalist, the Daniel Penny verdict is a signal that the BLM era is over. Well, it should be over for these grifters that have taken advantage of this cause. So yeah, and people like that, this guy should automatically be like kicked out of that organization with prejudice, because he's given everybody a bad name and he's not looking at the facts. He's not being honest about it, and now he's calling for nationwide protests and vigilante justice, racial vigilante justice. So yeah, maybe he should be detained, answer some questions. So,
he absolutely deserves a visit with that stunt. All right, but let's pivot. Or do you have more on this guy? On this?
Nope, I think that's it.
We'll pivot to the next one. More vigilante stuff. This time, let's talk about the CEO of the healthcare company. So no, we do not support the BLM call for black vigilantes and nationwide protests. But, we did have that comment in our thread earlier that they support Luigi and, the vigilante hero thing here. Blake, agree or disagree that the United Healthcare assassin is a vigilante hero? What say you?
I'm not prepared yet. I will just say probably not. Well, I disagree for now, but I'm open. I'm trying to be open-minded about this. This is contentious because some people are saying, this is what he was. This is your vigilanteism, assuming that he took out a really corrupt, dangerous guy that was above the law, and that there was no way he would face justice, and he sacrificed his own freedom and his potential in life to take this guy out for the greater good. I don't know about that. Maybe that's what he believes. I'm sure that it's what he does believe. This guy is extremely smart. He's valedictorian. They're saying he's got 130 plus IQ, what have you.
By the way, I did touch on it, but in comparison to both of these people, I thought Daniel Penny came off as really sharp as well. He was obviously coached by his attorney team to say the right things, but he struck me.
He wasn't all scripted. He wasn't just reading some statement. So he seems believable. No, this is going to be interesting. This is Luigi Mangione is an ex-Ivy League student arrested in connection to the killing of the CEO. He's a 26-year-old graduate of the University of Pennsylvania. Software engineer is arrested, named as the person of interest in the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. He was carrying a gun, a silencer, and false identification cards, similar to those they believe he used in New York. The gun appears to be a so-called ghost gun, assembled from parts that may have been made from a 3D printer. Maybe that's why it was jamming on him. Mr. Mangione was also carrying a handwritten manifesto that criticized healthcare companies for putting profits above care. And according to the manifesto, there was the lines, this says, "The parasites had it coming, and I do apologize for any strife and trauma, but it had to be done." So the manifesto consisted of 2.5 handwritten pages. I don't know. It says that it mirrored the quotes that Mangione posted on Goodreads account from wacky establishment Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, terrorized the country back in 1996. So I don't know. It seems like perhaps he was influenced. He's also into psychedelics, which is part of the reason for the unusual thumbnail for today. But yeah, we're still trying to dig into this. Brian, there's also he was just seen in public, and they broke a story where he was screaming at reporters and struggling with police as he was escorted into court. This is very brief, but very weird. Let's check this out.
Reminiscent of Anne Hesh going in the back of a vehicle.
That was even more weird because she was in a body bag trying to escape.
This guy's trying to escape. This guy's trying to get out of this.
Yeah, I mean, he's
been taken somewhere. Yeah.
Right.
Down.
Oh my God! That's completely out of touch, and an insult to the intelligence of the American people and the lived experience.
Okay, so we didn't get much to say, but here's the quote: "It is completely out of touch and an insult to the intelligence of the American people," to, I guess, a reporter that was asking him a question.
I heard it another way. I heard that this is completely unjust. That makes more sense, actually.
Okay, let's run this one again.
Down.
Legion.
Oh my God! That's completely out of touch. And the insult, the intelligence.
Okay, I would agree with that. Sounds unjust. Okay, yeah, he says it's completely out of touch. So yeah, I think you're right, Brian. It sounds this is completely unjust and an insult to the intelligence of the American people. Okay.
I mean, it's given off some Lee Harvey Oswald vibes. I'm wondering if there's going to be a Jack Ruby in there.
That would be a hell of a frame job.
I mean, they did it to Epstein. They shut him up, right?
What's that?
They did it to Epstein. They shut him up.
Yeah, they can get to you no matter what. You're never safe if they want to come after you.
But they're coming after everybody anyway. That's the problem. It's like they've activated all of our click it up a couple notches because we're seeing that getting stupid. They're getting sloppy. They're getting careless, reckless, and more callous. And I think that's where some of this, support for Luigi, perhaps. What was the quote we had from that post earlier? Something pro Luigi. I don't know where the heck.
Saying that it might have been a vigilante or something. What was it?
I'll look for it. Go ahead and tell us what we have on the screen.
Okay, well, there's an interesting thread put out here by the Peruvian Bull saying, let me get this straight. The killer is Luigi Mangione, Ivy League grad with degrees in computer science, avid reader, active contributor on GitHub, 130 plus IQ. But all of a sudden, he takes off his mask at a Starbucks to flirt with an employee. Then an hour later goes and calmly kills the CEO of a major healthcare company, rides away on a bike into Central Park, and a week later goes to a local McDonald's where he brings the same murder weapon, the fake ID he used to check into a hotel, and a written manifesto talking about how horrible the American healthcare system is. But he somehow gets ID'd by the cashier after he sits down, where he works on his laptop until police come inside McDonald's, sitting there with his ghost gun and the suppressor that he made himself. So he goes to a park, ditches a backpack full of Monopoly money, but not the murder weapon. Plus, I guess the backpack straps in the photo are a different color than the ones where he's in that other video where they show him going through the subway turnstiles, which some people were saying didn't look like him or wasn't the same color jacket or what have you. They're saying the straps were different on the backpack. I don't know, but there's certainly some questions here. So is he trying to get caught? Why didn't he turn himself in? I don't know. And he said one of the workers said they identified him based on his eyebrows from that grainy Starbucks picture. So I don't know. But then he also had like a Faraday cage type of bag that you can put your cell phone in so you don't give off signals, so you can't be tracked. So I don't know. There's certainly lots of questions to answer about this. Now it does seem like maybe he. What's that? Kind of cutting out, Brian. I think it seems like your internet signal's a little weak, maybe, or is it me? Something bag. I don't know. I'm not sure, Brian. You're coming in pixelated, but I can't tell if it's who's got the sloppy signal this time. Brian, you might want to refresh, unless it's me, or else you have to carry us here through this little internet obstacle here. But I'll just say the parents of Luigi Mangione were shocked by the arrest. And the friends reveal an alleged healthcare CEO's killer's twisted, complex past. So yeah, he's a valedictorian. Family shocked. Unfortunately, they said that we can't comment on news reports. We only know what we've read in the media. I guess they've been trying to get a hold of him for a while. He's kind of disappeared. He might have had an issue with the back surgery that he had, perhaps in a surfing accident that he had in Hawaii, which has caused him a lot of discomfort. There's also talk about that he was into, ayahuasca, which is a powerful psychedelic drug. That maybe that led to his psychosis here. It's hard to say. Yeah, I said it turns out they had a mutual friend, went to high school with Mangione, and he was on the wrestling team, says he was the class valedictorian. He had back surgery. Then he went missing, and no one has heard from him in a while. Could have had psychological distress. He was a former high-achieving student with 2 degrees from an Ivy League institution. And so, the traumatic medical procedure apparently triggered significant changes. And they're reporting that he went absolutely crazy after his medical challenges. So maybe that's led to this. There's so much here to unravel. They're just trying to put all the pieces together and find out what it is. And there are people on both sides of this. Some are saying he's a hero, and some are saying he's a villain. I am trying to hold off on my judgment. Obviously, you don't want to just shoot somebody on the street. That's some pretty extreme vigilante justice. But some people disagree. Some people really hate the healthcare companies. Actually, most people seem to really hate the healthcare companies. And there's a lot of good reasons for that. They are greedy as hell. People are complaining about their premiums. I know this whole healthcare thing is going on December 7th. Everybody in the United States has to sign up, get their healthcare plan. They're pissed off because of how much money they spend. And they realize that even when they get all this nice insurance, but as soon as they have a health problem, the insurance companies will try to screw you over on everything. So a lot of people despise these companies, and for good reason. But whether you can just go and shoot the CEOs on the street is another story. So here he is. I don't know which other direction to take this. Meanwhile, I'm still waiting for Brian to get back. He seems to be having a issue with his internet. This guy was influenced by the Unabomber. Here's in the start where he gave he read the Unabomber manifesto. He was an avid reader, did reviews online, and he gave 4 stars for the Unabomber manifesto. So the Goodreads users, Luigi Mangione, let's see, was praising Kaczynski. Maybe not praising him, but just saying that he maybe can relate to some of what he says. And certainly Theodore Kaczynski, also a extremely brilliant, I think he was also another Ivy Leaguer, but went crazy and made homemade bombs and caused quite a scare back in the 90s. I remember that well. They were trying desperately to try to track him down. Convicted of a series of mail bombings between 1978 and 1995 that killed 3, injured 23, a mathematics prodigy who went nuts. Maybe there's something similar. Maybe there's an influence there. I guess I'm just going to continue rolling here until Brian shows up. But here's where we get into the ayahuasca part. It's a banger here being praised by Elon Musk. There's a tweet from Autism Capital. That's a good account. You guys might want to follow that if you do use Twitter X. Kind of joking, this is probably one of the top 5 best tweets ever posted. This guy was saying ayahuasca is insane because it appears to be one of the most legitimately dangerous drugs with the potential to gigafry your brain, but is exclusively taken by literal turbo normies who unironically want to heal internalized racism trauma and basically get one-shotted by it. And he says, literally the most spiritually inept people in existence having their little lib brains rearranged by some Mesoamerican 6-dimensional demon who makes them quit their email job, divorce their significant other, and become a traveling circus stripper or whatever. Now, I don't agree with this. I've never taken ayahuasca, but I have taken DMT before, which is pretty similar stuff. And you definitely have to have the right mind frame to be doing this. But when people do ayahuasca, they're usually doing that with trained, I don't know if you want to call them, they're not medical professionals, they're shamans and what have you. It's powerful plant medicine. It can be very therapeutic for the right people. I don't think it's necessarily dangerous, but you can't just take it recreationally for just anybody. Like, you have to have some kind of issues that you want to work out. You want some, profound spiritual understanding of your situation. And for a lot of people, I've read a lot of positive things. I haven't seen anything directly negative or that people have lost their minds. Again, it's not something that everybody should take. It's something that you should take with some intention and purpose of bettering your life. And some of these people have realized it gives you a different experience and a perspective where you realize maybe you're not living the life you were meant to live, and you might want to change things up. And I've seen a lot of positive effects. I would like to do it myself, and at some point in time. It's not that easy, and I don't want to go to South America just to do that. But certainly, if you're vulnerable, if you've got mental issues and you're not with the shamans, and you're Luigi Mangione and you're maybe a little crazy and you had the back surgery and something's not right, maybe it could do more harm than good. I'm not quite sure, but I thought that was an interesting tweet. But people are pointing out all of the history of this guy's social media posts, and those are some of the things that they found that were certain. It is certainly interesting when you're talking about, the use of psychedelics and the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski. Brian is having issues with his internet. It went out. He is still out, and he is unplugged, and he is rebooting. So we'll see. Maybe he'll be back in a few minutes if he gets that straightened out. Meanwhile, I'm just going to continue to go through as a couple other points here. On the controversial side, of people saying that he's a vigilante hero. Certainly, we did have that comment in here in chat earlier, and that's a compelling argument. You're allowed to say that. We don't know until all the facts come out. So we shall see. Deb from SAC is saying psychedelic drugs are just another path to crazy. They certainly could probably amplify that effect with the wrong people. I guess I've done my share of psychedelics. I've had mostly positive experiences with that, but I don't think it maybe make you a little crazy. You got to be around the right people. Make sure your dosages are correct, or things could go astray. And I think the only things I would even recommend would be, psychedelic mushrooms or DMT or ayahuasca. I haven't done all of them, but you can have some weird experiences with LSD. Let me see. I'm not recommending that. Just with the right set in the setting. That was all it was anyway. With Timothy Leary, you got to have the right mindset, the right comfortable setting, the right dosage. It can be positive. Deb's still sticking with coffee. CBD oil is good. CBD oil is great. DMT for weak people. Come on. I like DMT. I'll be honest. Done that a few times. I think it's past the several years ago. I actually really liked that one. Not saying it's not for everybody, but it's certainly interesting stuff. That'll make you have some profound little spiritual journey, perhaps. I think Brian's almost back here. What else? Medical CBD and cannabis is reasonable with your doctor's advice. Kenneth saying, Blake journeyed into the center of his mind. I sure did, and I didn't want to come back. See, the thing is, I really like the DMT so much that it's like I don't want to come back to normal life, because it's like,
all right, I'm here.
That feels like normal to me, to be just in my own little spiritual realm in the journey. I don't want, because when you snap out of it, then it's like, oh, great. Well, I'm just here and I got to go back to my.
But I need an escalation and I need a supervisor. The wiring is wrong. They've had 6 people out. There's a node issue. My uploads are slow. it just snapped me off in the middle of me working and broadcasting. Like, I cannot. And they credited my account last month, but nothing showed up on my account as a giving me a month free or 2 months free. I've been having problems for months now. And the last person I talked to, I've credited your account for the inconvenience. No, you didn't. I paid 2 bills since then, and they're full $70 bills. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, no, that sucks, man. I'm sorry, man. You seem like you had like really good like fiber optic internet there for quite a while. And now it's you're having an outage today, a rare outage. So hopefully that we'll get that squared away.
And you know what they did?
So, yeah, it's almost like Brian's ethereal voice and coming from the void.
They didn't even remove.
Oh, you're under my account, so it's like the voices in my head from the DMT and the psychedelics.
But I mean, it's just sloppy. It's like no concern.
Are you on a Brian? I might have to. Mike pulling you down. I don't know if you're trying to talk to me or the audience, or if you're just on speakerphone. Okay, I think Brian is on speakerphone talking to somebody. It's tripping me out, man. Anyway, so we'll see. All right, well, hopefully Brian will get that squared away. Let's talk about 2 more things from the vigilante side. Here's Taylor Lorenz, although she did not look good. And she usually does. I think she's totally nuts. I know she makes a point about how, these healthcare people are greedy assholes, and maybe it's not that big of a surprise that somebody's going to try to take them out. Yeah, people are really struggling out there. People have filed bankruptcy to get out of their damn medical bills. The whole industry is a scam. And I'm starting to find some of this out. I haven't had healthcare benefits in years, and I'm trying to apply, and I just moved. I don't have a job. I'm going through some shit. And I'm at a point where I'm just, I'm 47. I just want to get a physical. I might have a hernia. I just want to get some basic stuff. I don't really use the system that much. I feel like I should just be able to do it. I think a lot of other countries maybe have a better idea on how to run the medical industry, whereas the United States, it's all built on just making as much money as possible. And it's corrupt, it's outrageous, and it preys on people that shouldn't have to worry so much about this stuff. So I don't know. We were all under there, that DMT. It's a DMT relapse, man. Hearing voices. No, I'm not. But let's hear the voices of Piers Morgan slamming the hack Taylor Lorenz, saying she felt joy over the murder of United Healthcare's CEO. And that was one of the topics today. Let me see if I can find it. In fact, why don't I just run a quick stinger, since Brian does not here to do it for me. Okay, agree or disagree that we should feel joy for the vigilante justice on the healthcare CEO. So let's watch this exchange on this Piers Morgan uncensored. Here we go.
I do believe in the sanctity of life, and I think that's why I felt, along with so many other Americans, joy, unfortunately, because it feels like...
Seriously?
I mean...
Joy in a man's execution?
Maybe not joy, but certainly not empathy. Because again,
we're watching the footage. How can this make you joyful? This guy's a husband, he's a father, and he's being gunned down in the middle of Manhattan. Why does that make you joyful?
Of Americans that he murdered. So are the tens of thousands of Americans, innocent Americans, who died because greedy health insurance executives like this one push policies of denying care to the most vulnerable people. And the many millions of Americans that have watched people that I care about suffer, and in some cases die, because of lack of health care.
So should they all be killed then? Should they all be killed, these healthcare executives? Would that make you even more joyful?
No, that would not.
But why not?
And,
why are you laughing?
I think because it wouldn't fix the system.
You seem to find the whole thing hilarious.
I find your question funny.
A bloke's been murdered in the street. I don't find it funny at all.
I don't find it funny that tens of thousands of Americans die every year and because they are denied life-saving healthcare from people like the CEO. Now, I want to fix this system. You're right. We shouldn't be going around shooting each other with vigilante justice. No. I think that it is a good thing that this murder has led to America, or really the media elites and politicians in this country paying attention to this issue for the first time. You mentioned you couldn't understand why somebody would feel this reaction when they watched a CEO die. It's because you have not dealt, it sounds like, with the American healthcare system in the way that millions of other Americans have.
I've dealt with the healthcare system in various ways in America. I don't think it's perfect by any means, but the idea that I would view it as something.
Have you been denied life saving?
Hang on. The idea that I would view it as something joyful that a man has been, who's just a healthcare executive, has been executed in the street, I find completely bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, I don't always agree with Piers Morgan, but yeah, I don't think joy is the word, unless, this was a terrible person that we all knew was a household name and that they had been escaping justice and ripping off people for, a decade. This guy's been a CEO for like 20 years, makes a ton of money. I don't know how much influence he has on, taking away care for people. And she certainly, Taylor Lorenz does make a point. And actually, let me switch things up. She does make a point that a lot of people are outraged, but maybe joy is not the right word to be using here. But let me turn over to somebody I do really like, who also had a similar controversial opinion. That would be comedian Bill Burr talking about this same incident. Let's listen to him from his Monday morning podcast.
About this kid who killed this CEO is none of these news programs are talking about the incredible lack of empathy from the general public about this.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. Is Brian here? Do you want me to, I'll restart this one. It's only a minute clip. Brian?
Oh, yeah, I had that pulled up on my side. It's a incredibly powerful minute from Bill Burr.
Yeah, this is a very conflicted issue because I don't know who that dude was, the CEO guy. Brian, I don't want to see somebody gunned down in the street. Maybe he's an asshole. I don't know, but that's still. Then where do we draw the line? What side do we take? So let's talk about.
Well, we can talk about the policies of companies like this and that specific company. That's where we need to talk. We can do two things at once. You can arrest somebody if you think they're a perpetrator. If you think you have enough evidence to convict and charge them and go that route, continue the investigation as you will. But look, make America healthy again. What in the world are we doing in our medical care facilities, Blake? We innovate and we do a lot of great stuff, but then we do disgusting. Who's denying anybody care for anything? What are we doing? This is the dumbest shit. Just trying to understand the healthcare. Well, you need to come see me first. Then you get a specialist. But then this has to go to and I understand everything needs a system and needs to have a system. But when you're denying care, like insurance claims, or if your house burns down or floods, like in North Carolina, you're a human being. You have a body. And if something's not working right, you go to the facility and they try to help you. What is this other stuff in between where, well, if we deny all these claims, then we can make an extra $100 billion this year. Then you're like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that system and fuck the people that work in that system. And then this guy, they say catching strays. His was not a stray. This was very deliberate to send a message, it seems, although maybe there's more, we're unpacking this. There's a lot of potentialities here.
Well, it's interesting theory here from one of our listeners, Adina Rona, saying, did you guys happen to notice a shooter had back trouble and he shot at the CEO's back? I think it might be a coincidence. I think you just got to get your shot off, wherever it is. But yeah, certainly the shooter had the back issues, and that a lot of his friends are saying that's led to his craziness. A surfing accident messed him up, and that will absolutely ruin you. And then who knows with medications or what have you. I mean, I don't know if it can knock your with your spine and the connections to your brain. I mean, there's something there. So maybe it was a psychotic episode from that surgery.
Yes.
I mean,
Deb is saying that Brian is back from the loo. No.
Yep.
I'm going to badmouth Spectrum because I've been having nothing but problem with Spectrum internet for months now. So I'm very displeased with my Spectrum service. They have someone coming at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and I'm sure he's going to be like the last 6 who aren't the right people to fix the job. There's a known node issue, but they're not fixing it. And even if they wanted to, they're months and months behind, but they'll prioritize it. They'll see what they can do. They'll try it. In the meantime, we're going to rewire your account and put the line, instead of up at the pole and off of your property, we're going to put it right through the neighbor's property, right through bushes and trees, where it's going to be rubbing up against there, where it's going to mess with the static in the line nonstop instead of the way it was the first time before you fixed it. So yeah, Spectrum, I'm done with you. And I hope all of you are considering your other options besides Spectrum, because I'll tell you what, I'm gonna make a plan and be ready to make a complete switch here. I'm so sick of the Spectrum service.
Weird.
No, I was not free.
Yeah, you had too much Arby's, Brian. Right?
Wait, did you say I'm on the Spectrum?
No. But so this place that I'm in now, my new location here, the whole complex is completely pre-wired with Spectrum. Like, there's no option. I can't, like, it's married into my rent and everything. Mm-hmm. And so apparently it's weird. So now I have to run like the apps on the TV. So I just got this new like Sony TV, and they won't even run with Spectrum. It's weird. It's a lot of strange stuff. But anyway, side issue. But yes, Spectrum is big. So they're like pre-wiring apartment complexes that the whole thing is all, but I mean, it's all fiber optic. It's new. So I'll probably have an easier issue. I hoped, no jinx, but I'm sorry you're having issues with them. And I hope that they get that resolved. Frustrating.
I've met with them 5 or 6 times now. I've had people back here multiple times. Like, come on, man. You know that there's a node issue. Like, they do the readings, and I'm well beyond a failing grade. The uploads take for freaking ever. Anyway, so no, I'm not.
For a minute there, it was like you had some lightning speed. Yeah, you had your proper fiber optic, and then something went wrong.
Yeah, but I used to be in property management and worked with homeowners associations, and yeah, that is a thing. There's a lot of communities that are pre-wired for certain service, but I don't like the monopoly concept. If you want to wire so that you can tap into the building and then send it, fine. But you should be able to have other companies tap in as well. I know not everybody uses the same connection, not everybody uses the same technology, but and that's the danger of wiring your house. That's the danger of doing stuff like that. What you think is super awesome in 1991 might not be in 10 years. So Spectrum, it's whatever now, but is it going to be the thing that lasts? I don't know. It ain't lasting for me. So.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, with the monopoly. So with the Sony TV, they have some issue with Spectrum. So I cannot. So in order to watch TV, I have to download the Spectrum app, but you can't get it on Sony. So I actually had to buy a Roku separately so that I could get the Spectrum app. It's bizarre with the way that things are changing now. The Spectrum has some rivalry with Sony and LG. If you have those TVs, you can't get your Spectrum just pre-wired in like it's supposed to. You got to circumvent it. Anyway, but let's go
from monopoly on internet service to the monopoly money from this guy. And Bill Burr, let's get back to his comment. He was saying, let's talk. Just rewind it from the beginning. Let's, it's only a minute long.
Yeah, it's only 59 seconds. So, right. Okay.
You know what's annoying me about this kid who killed this CEO is none of these news programs are talking about the incredible lack of empathy from the general public about this. Because of how these insurance companies treat people when they are at their most vulnerable, after we've all given them our money every fucking month, and now we finally need you, and all you do is deny us. And then these pussies and all of these things are taking the pictures of their CEOs off their websites. I got to be honest with you, okay? I love that that fucking CEOs are fucking afraid right now. You should be. By and large, you're all a bunch of selfish, greedy fucking pieces of shit, and a lot of you are mass murderers. You just don't pull the trigger. That's why it looks clean. That's why these people look, oh my God, oh, he was just, walking into a hotel. It's like, okay, but what was his job? What did he do? What was the results of it? You know what's annoying me about this kid?
Like, I think part of the reason why I was so fired up earlier today, and I'm listening to Billy Boy, old Billy Boy, he's using some of the same colorful language that I was using earlier. Maybe he was a little bit more laid back on the issue, but I got so worked up. It's because the healthcare system that my brother slid into, where they killed him, where they denied him coverage, where they denied him care, no ivermectin for him, because that's what the Democrats were pushing at the time. No ivermectin. You have to do remdesivir. You have to do this. And it's not about any one particular thing. It's about the fact that your health care should be, you should be allowed to save your life in the way that you see fit, in a system that works with you and for you. They didn't allow that. There was a one-size-fits-all approach that didn't fit anybody. And how many people needlessly died? They pushed the respirators. It's a chicken and the egg thing. Like, most of the people that died, or a large number of them that did, they were all the respirator people. Well, maybe the sickest people ended up on the respirator right at the end as a last ditch effort, maybe. Or maybe it was the respirator that blew out their fucking lungs. Oh, ivermectin. Oh, that's horse paste. No. You need this shot. We won't give you a surgery in the hospital if you don't take this shot. Oh, you can't visit with your relative. You can't be there with your spouse as they die because you didn't take a shot. You can't come in here. The shit that the medical industry has done to us over the last 4 years, it's all wrapped up in the coup that happened in 2020. It's all wrapped up in Pelosi and Cheney and the repercussions of installing Joe Biden in there. And I hope to God we're able to unravel and prove what I know in my heart is true. There's no way Joe child sniffing Biden got what he got. But you know what? The repercussions, the ramifications of that theft certainly didn't help save my brother's life. So any medical system, and by the way, you're gonna like FEMA in North Carolina. You're not going to help them, and you're going to ship billions elsewhere. You're not going to help these people. Just buy some acreage and build some houses, buy some apartment buildings out and give these people condos. And maybe it's a temporary thing to get them on their feet, whatever. You're going to take our billions and give them to people that aren't from here, countries that aren't us. You're going to let 30 million people swarm into our country at the same time. You're saying you can't have a surgery at a hospital. You can't get ivermectin. Oh, no. You must only get the jab so that the healthcare insurance companies can make the most money possible, subsidized by the United States government, by the way. No. You're going to do that, but you're going to bring in 30 million people that don't have the jab, and then they flood the healthcare systems that push Americans into a longer waiting list? These people have got to be out of their minds, Blake. The whole system is upside down, and it's been a theme for today's show. So I get where Billy Boy's going there.
Yeah, no, me too. I was saying while you were gone, I haven't had health insurance in years. I'm trying to sign up now, but now it's like, oh, okay, well, I just had to move. I don't have a job. I don't know if I'll be able to get it. I don't know if I got to try to get it by December 7th. That's the deadline. And now I'm kind of in, but then I get till December 15th to pick a plan. There's no way I can afford it, even if I get it. But I hardly ever use the system. I've been very, fortunate and very, very healthy, but the time I might need something, and now it's like, oh, it's going to cost me so much money. I don't know what to do. So the whole system sucks. I agree. I'm very Green Party-ish in a way, not like the regular one, but I would like to see I think everybody should have health care, and that should be just baked into our taxes. But the idea should be to make it as affordable as possible. It should be as efficient as possible.
Yes, with as much choice baked into it as possible.
Right. Yeah. There's no excuse. If you should be able to get what you want.
That's from Sacramento saying her personal doctor told her she couldn't prescribe ivermectin, and she couldn't say why. Well, you know what my brother got? He reluctantly, after being turned down by multiple doctors, found someone that would prescribe it, risking her license. But guess what? She was so scared. I think it was 12 milligrams, whatever the measurement metric was. It was like 12 and it was supposed to be 60. It's like brewing a pot of coffee the way Blake says I make it. Like a little pinch of coffee. Yeah. Blake just dumps the whole canister of chock full of nuts or what's the one? Cafe Bustelo. The can is really yellow. And Blake's dumping the whole can in. This doctor was so scared. She was like, pinch. So even if ivermectin could have worked for my brother, she was terrified of prescribing enough of it because it was so demonized that it wasn't an effective dose. So yeah, Dina also adds that hospitals got extra money by putting people on respirators. Yeah, what was it? 35,000 a person, 350,000 a person. I don't even remember the exact numbers. It's infuriating.
38 or 40. Yeah, it was insane.
Not one size fits all approach for medical care. There's 100 different opinions on what could be a thing. And that's what the marketplace of ideas is about. And that's why you have published as many freestanding studies with peer-reviewed research data. And you don't have Fauci pushing his finger on the scales, trying to manipulate the system so he could make as much fucking money as possible. Fauci was linked to the AIDS crisis. Fauci was accused of the same shit he's been accused of during COVID. And my prayer is that under Bobby Kennedy and Donald Trump, we're going to get to the bottom of it and let him stand trial for what he's done. It's like was it Bill Burr that just said it from a previous one? It's not like they pulled the trigger, but yeah, he did. His actions definitely led to a cascade of death, destruction. He left sorrow in his wake. And we, the people, are sick of that shit. We don't want to see people getting gunned down. I don't know if that guy was he just a figurehead or was he the guy? What's that Billy Bob Thornton thing I keep seeing all the advertisements from? It's like an oil man. It's like an oil show. And I caught a clip with Mark Wahlberg and him and Kurt Russell or something. And it's just him penny pinching. And, oh, yeah, I think the scene goes, well, you're not fixing the repair. Name me one urgent piece of infrastructure that I haven't replaced. And Mark Wahlberg rattles off a list of 45 things, and he goes, and on top of it, the air conditioning for this fucking room if you want to know why you're sweating your ass off. And it's like, okay, so if you're a CEO, if you're a figurehead, a person in charge who's intentionally doing all of these bullshit things with all of the blood on your hands, like you can't even pretend, I don't know, the shareholders vote, and I'm the guy that does the thing. I don't even have a say versus, yes, I'm the greedy, evil bastard that's doing it personally. But that's why you don't allow vigilantism. You're supposed to have a day in court, and you should have an opportunity for defense, like the Jay-Z story we'll talk about in a second. So I'm against the vigilante bullshit here. Every time I say go after Cheney, Pelosi, Kinzinger, Obama, Biden, every one of these dirtbags, I mean with a fair trial, a military tribunal, a fair and appropriate defense. You just go off somebody, you don't get to be judge, jury, executioner, piece of shit. So I'm not a Luigi fan here, but I hate the medical industry too. So I think you can be both. I think it's fair and reasonable to have both opinions. Blake, as Deb says, Fauci does need to be held accountable. I agree. Dina is saying, point is therapeutics were available and emergency authorization use was illegal. Yes, the emergency use authorization did not apply, which meant they didn't get the blanket coverage for if any of their products had side effects or deaths related to them. That's how it played out. They needed that emergency use authorization. And if there were a single therapeutic out there like ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine and they could show efficacy, they wouldn't have had those protections. Well, you know what? Pass a fucking law that says we're going to also grant emergency use authorization in this one case, even if therapeutics work. That was an easy fucking fix. They didn't have to build a brick wall in between people getting real care and care that didn't help some people in the ways that they claimed it did. These jabs, all of the problems that people have been facing after they've taken them, if they've survived, if it even helped them to begin with, once you got past that initial first wave and everybody essentially had some form of immunity, some sort of natural immunization. They lied about that. Like, that's not a thing. I'm like, that's the number one thing known in immunology. But the Democrats, the deep state, these people working in big pharma, working in the medical industry, man, they colluded with big tech to censor any one of us that was trying to save people's lives. So on that level, they can all piss off. all of them, every greasy piece of crap connected in that system, in that chain of command that screwed up the healthcare system so bad under Corona. Oh, I've got legitimate, personal, seething rage. Please, I will volunteer if Fauci is committed, if he's convicted. Please let me volunteer. If there's a button to press or a trigger, if he's found guilty and it's crimes against humanity and it's please let me volunteer. I will take that on my soul and I'll have to meet my maker. But that's after a fair trial. You don't just walk up behind somebody and do that, Blake.
Would you strangle him? They said, Brian, you can't just push a button. No, you're actually going to have to put your hands around his neck and squeeze.
What is the question now? Have I envisioned this like every night?
No. I was just saying, if you volunteer to like push a button, but that's too easy. What if they said, okay, Brian, you can take him out, but you got to put your hand, you got to strangle him.
How long can I make it last?
Well, until he's gone, whatever. Until the light goes out of his eyes.
Yeah, how long?
You got to look him in the eyes while you strangle him. Would you do that instead of just pushing a button? Because anybody can push a button, right?
Blake, how long can I drag the process out?
Hold the switch. Okay, come on. No, there's probably no. Okay. Well, okay. Just trying to see how committed you were to that, Brian.
Blake, why do in 10 seconds what you could do over the course of days or weeks? You know that scene in Pulp Fiction? I'm about to get medieval on his ass.
Wow, the blowtorch and the pliers, right?
Some pipe laying motherfuckers. Pipe hitting, what's he said? Pipe laying motherfuckers. No. I'm also against cruel and unusual punishment. So like I battle that. So I could go quick if I had to.
Okay.
My natural inclination. I don't want to finish that sentence, Blake. But
okay. Yeah, let's not.
There is nothing on the table that would make me squirmish about having the opportunity to visit some due justice on people that have been mass murderers. And I distinctly, definitely blame Fauci for the censorship, for the lack of, for the attack campaign waged on us as we got sick, our loved ones when we tried to help them, and the brave hero doctors that were losing their licenses and being threatened on a daily basis. That piece of shit. So yeah, I'm in. You tell me when and where. After a fair trial, you tell me when and where, man. I'm signing up. So anyway.
Okie doke.
All right. What else we got in the stack? I don't know what you covered. Let's move it along. And
there's like two other stories.
Okay.
So Syria or Jay-Z? Jay-Z on your end, because I didn't have anything for that. I've seen some of his stuff. I've seen the controversy, but I don't have any material in front of me here.
I don't either. I just look. This is just the theme that I'm going with today. Everybody deserves a right to a trial. Now, Jay-Z has been linked to a lot of bad activity. I mean, he made his fame slinging rock and abusing his community, turning them into zombies, brain dead junkies. Like that's how he made his way, thugging on the corner. This isn't somebody like helping a kid get ready for his 6th grade science class. This isn't showing a high school kid how to wear a tie for his assembly. It's a dude that's getting rich off of the misery of the people in his community. He's a fucking Fauci. He's a Fauci. And maybe I don't know the CEO of the healthcare, the Brian guy. I don't know him. So I'm not going to say that, but I know what Fauci's all about. He doesn't give a damn about the people in his way. He cares about the bottom line. And Jay-Z, he's been a drug dealer. You get people hooked on smack, all sorts of bad shit. You're poisoning your people. So we know he's bad on that level. He's also been connected to all of the Diddy stuff. And now he's been accused of abusing a 13-year-old after a VMA party, I believe in 2000, 2001 or something like that. Yeah, the comment of the day is obviously Jay-Z has 100 problems now. I think that just sums it up. So, am I going to make a blanket statement about Jay-Z because he hangs out with Maria Abramovich and he throws up the triangles and the little eye signs and along with his other fun people doing their culty thing?
Illuminati. Wait, how do I do that? There we go. It's like that now. Something like that.
Yep.
Hidden hand.
You also do that.
Oh, I can't do that. Anyway.
Do what? The hidden hand?
I don't have that full button down. So yeah, there's all kinds of weird symbols. I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, and look,
where there's theory that did the the triangle and the tongue. So.
What did he call it? Right. He called it a something-ati. He did
Jimmy Kimmel or something. Yeah, that was weird.
Who knows? But look, and I heard that it was Busby that was going after him. I'd have to look that up. But if it's Busby, he's the same one that went after Deshaun Watson. Either way, it may or may not be. But everybody's entitled to their defense here. Even Diddy. Look, Epstein deserved his day in court. We deserve to know what was going on. So I'm a big fan of the justice system. I'm not a fan of throwing J6ers in a moldy prison with rotten bread and cold floors and no blankets and no trial for 4 years. You kidding me? I don't want to see someone get thrown in jail and abused on a daily basis by corrupt guards and a sadistic cellmate, or I don't want to see someone get shanked at the cafeteria. I want these to be places that you can churn out the people that got hung up, made a bad decision, fell in with the wrong crowd, maybe get a second chance. You know, it's not the repeat stuff. But yeah, I don't know that I have all the specifics in front of me for Jay-Z, but it's a huge story that he's getting wrapped up in this because we're all waiting for the Diddy list to drop, the Epstein list to drop, Trump and Kash Patel and these other people, probably Tulsi. I mean, it's time to get all this information out, and they're terrified, Blake, rightfully so. They don't want to know who's on Jimmy Kimmel. Absolutely. If I were placing bets, all right, Blake, $100 if you can get a name right. Who would you guess? You get 10 guesses. Who's on the Diddy tapes and have been compromised and blackmailed? You don't have to put anything down, but you get $100 for any name that you throw out there, but you only have 10 seconds to throw out 10 names, $100 a piece. If you're guessing, name me 10 people, 10 names, and it's fair in the comment section too. As soon as you can, type it all out, stream of conscious. Who would you guess would be on that Diddy list? Go.
Ellen DeGeneres? I don't know. Yes. Leonardo DiCaprio?
Fair guess.
Maybe Tom Hanks? I don't know.
Fair guess.
I don't know. Who's been at the Diddy parties? It should be obvious. I don't know.
Oprah, Bill Maher.
Oprah, Bill Maher.
Jay-Z, I could see it. LeBron.
LeBron, yeah, with the French maid uniform, yeah.
What was that all about anyway? What was that pic? What was the context of that? I don't even know where that picture was.
What they call it, the humiliation ritual or whatever.
Yeah, but where was it posted? I don't know the origin of it. Where did it come from? Was there a story to it? Was it a legitimate post? Was it a Photoshop? Like, I've seen that image.
I didn't listen to the whole interview with what was it? Cat was it? What's his name? Cat when he was with Terrell Owens. Cat Williams, right?
Cat Williams, yes.
So I did not listen to that entirely. I only maybe got into a half hour. It was interesting.
2024. It's all coming out. It's all coming out. Shannon.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Chappelle would know something about that too, because I think they tried to make him go through those humiliation rituals or whatever they do so they can get you compromised. But yeah, it looks like, LeBron with the maid uniform. Something's very odd though.
And by the way, this is if we were guessing.
No party like a Diddy party, Brian.
What's that?
There's no party like a Diddy party.
Yeah,
well, imagine if it was like 10 years ago and you got invited to a Diddy party. Would you have gone like, no, I'm not going to go there?
Yeah, I know. So like I've definitely been at I've been the help at a lot of these parties at private residences and the Oscars and behind the scenes, and I've been places and I've been behind the curtain.
Signed an NDA to go to the freak off party.
I mean, I was also on the periphery of several group party requests and invitations as well, and it didn't really appeal to me, so I did not. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Dina is saying here, I have to add, Fauci is guilty of animal abuse. He had beagles, helpless beagles, torchies with Fauci's idiotic experiment. Yeah. Take the vocal cords out so you don't have to listen to him scream. So that's why, Blake, when you ponder, like, how long do I get alone with Fauci? How long can I drag this out? You know, letting him tap out super quick. That's the easy way out. This guy about to get medieval on his ass. Ving Rhames from Pulp Fiction. Anyway, but yeah, I am Cat New for sure. I'm definitely a fan of giving people the opportunity to be innocent unless proven guilty. It's not until, because until assumes that you will be innocent unless proven guilty. But anyway, so I don't know that I have a ton to add on it. It's just, it's all coming out. We'll see how
they're grooming minors, including Beyonce, I guess, that they probably were involved before she was of age.
Oh,
it seems to have worked out. They're married. But yeah,
they are. All right. Let's bounce to our final topic, assuming that you talked about Luigi and the psychedelic drugs.
Yeah, I did get into some of that.
Luigi and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. Okay, so then I guess the last one we have here, Blake, agree or disagree, that Syria will be much better off now that Assad has fled the country. Agree or disagree? Syria is much better off.
I'm going to disagree. No, I don't. I mean, I'm not saying it would be great to live under Assad. No, but is it going to be better now that they've got some radical or moderate rebels that have taken over? Is ISIS now in charge? I'm not exactly sure. Now, if we can criticize Assad for a lot of stuff, but maybe as an outsider looking in, it seemed like people could at least live in peace. Whether you were Christian, Muslim, Jewish, it didn't matter. You could live in peace. Now, that does not sound like a paradise living under Assad. But, I mean, it's like Egypt, Mubarak left. Saddam Hussein, you think Iraq is better off? Do I think Egypt is better off? Do I think Libya with Gaddafi is better off? No. Creates a power vacuum. They tend to have worse people in there, but they're people that they can control. I mean, CIA took over, they overthrew Mossadegh in 1953 in Iran, put in the Shah. So, I mean, this is kind of the playbook that they've been running for a long time, getting rid of popular, like populist leaders. I'm surprised they didn't take out Javier Milei yet. Or,
well, they did Bolsonaro in Brazil. They're trying to arrest him now. They're trying to say that he's trying to kill Lula. Well, Lula stole his country, allegedly. Go to CISA.gov or something. But yeah, they're doing the same to Bolsonaro. Yeah, Javier Milei and the dude in El Salvador.
Yeah, Bukele. Yeah.
Bukele, yeah, all this stuff. I mean, this shit has got to stop. This shit has got to stop.
No, why would they? Because they got to go after Russia somehow. And so since they're busy, tangled up with the Ukraine, so now they can't, protect Assad. And so now they've taken over. So they've marched the tanks through Damascus. Assad has fled to Moscow, I guess. And we're going to see more of this meddling in the Middle East, which usually does not go well. Even in the Federalist, which is, slightly neoconish, they're even calling it out. Assad's downfall proves neocons have learned nothing from the Middle East meddling.
Well, remember, though, it's not just, I don't know why he's pinning it on neocons. Obama, Clinton, Kerry, Newland, like this whole crew, they were hell-bent. They had such a hard-on to get involved in a proxy war with Russia in Syria. This was happening before Donald Trump took office. It's just these people script out 20-year plans, and they can't call an audible. They can't figure out that we don't want this stupid, endless, nonstop warfare. And I wonder how many of the Afghanistan weapon systems that were stolen when Let's Go Brandon pulled out of Afghanistan and left all of that state-of-the-art material. I wonder how much of that is going to show up in Syria now. I'm so curious, Blake.
Yeah, I just don't think it's going to be good. And there was like videos of Christians being terrorized by these radical Islamists, terrorists, which are the moderate rebels. So yeah, it doesn't look good. And they tried to frame Assad for a long time as like he was using chemical weapons against his own people, spreading propaganda. Much like, Saddam, taking babies off the incubators, blah, blah, blah. They spread a lot of war propaganda to demonize certain people that, were bringing stability to their region. They're liked, and they, had a distrust of Western ideals, and especially like Western banks that wanted to take over. And so they've been targeted by the military industrial complex, and they finally got rid of Assad. And there's arch neocon Bill Kristol, who should also be facing consequences for his actions over the years. Of course, part of the project of the New American Century. This is something that they would have liked to have done. Take out all of the leaders that wouldn't play ball with us and put radical people that they could control. So here you go. Assad's taken down. Again, not saying he's a good guy, but saying that they're probably going to replace him with something much worse. And, okay, what else? In Syria, be careful what you wish for. Sharia law and a new wave of refugees is more likely than a democracy following the fall of Assad and the U.S. meddling. There's another article. What else do we have? Trump remarking on the dramatic fall of Assad regime in Syria, kind of saying we're not really going to get involved here, but it's sad to see. They seem happy now. They seemed happy in Libya. They seemed happy in Egypt. They seemed happy in Iraq. But wait till the new boss comes in. And is he really going to be better than the old boss? Probably not.
Dina is saying, here I go again. Putin is holding back the global syndicate, one world government. Forget nationalism. Yeah, I mean, my grandparents were Russian Orthodox, and it's very somber, it's very traditional, it's very conservative, and you just kind of compare it to the degeneracy being pushed by the globalists, and it's stunning. It is absolutely stunning that we've ended up in this spot now, and they're getting that. They're finally getting that Syrian thing on the way out. Once again, would Syria be happening if the election was held on Tuesday and you had 12 hours to get your stuff together and you were escorted out by security on Wednesday morning? All right, that's it. Time to go. Why do you get a couple months to just start extra war, loot and plunder billions of extra dollars for money laundering? This is insane, man. I don't know. Have you heard a pro to that con? I think it's a big con. It's a big potential negative that Biden and his ilk are allowed to stay in, swaying God knows what type of influence over Syria and Ukraine, and pick your place. Kenneth is saying, Assad when I drink. Assad when I drink. I happy when I drink. But anyway, Blake, what do you think about that?
Well, I don't, like I said, I don't think it's going to be good for the region. I don't think it's going to be good for the Syrian people. But yeah, I mean, in theory, like if you could actually get somebody that was good and liberate the people, that would be something else.
Well, specifically about Biden being walked out the next day, is there any downside?
Many times, I know, but that's just the way it is. And it used to be a lot farther into like April in the lame duck period, but that was back in the day when transportation wasn't as easy. But I mean, everybody was on the same page. You had different perspectives on social issues and certain financial things, but for the most part, we were all agreement, Democrat, Republican, we could all work together like adults, but it's gotten a lot more divisive since then. This is a Natural News article. Mike Adams just kind of outlining.
Before you get into Mike Adams and the article, Kenneth says, Assad my lawn. Yes, I was able to seed my lawn yesterday. I've been reseeding it in the low areas, and some new growth is coming in. I seed my lawn too. And Dina saying NGOs are ruining America. Oh my God, yes. Day one. This NGO stuff has got to stop. But anyway, back to this Mike Adams article for you, Blake.
Yeah, the implications of the fall of Syria as a geographical context and strategic importance, where it is with ports on the Mediterranean Sea. They also have Russian military bases there. You have Turkey's role in betrayal. Turkey, a NATO member, played a critical role in the fall of Syria under President Erdogan. They had signaled interest in joining BRICS, move that would have aligned it more closely with Russia and Iran. However, with the invasion of Syria, Turkey has seemingly betrayed its previous alliances. economic sanctions, Western imperialism, proposed pipelines and energy control, military takeover by Western-backed proxy forces, including remnants of ISIS, far-reaching consequences. So we got U.S. and Israeli military actions now as they've taken over the infrastructure and government buildings. Greater Israel Project, regional implications, the abandonment of the dollar. We got Bitcoin. I don't know. I'm not going all of it, but yeah, there's going to be some problems that are going to happen out of this. Maybe they'll be good for NATO and against Russia, but I don't know. Again, for the I guess the people of Syria, is this a good move? I don't know. So I guess we'll see. This is all happening. This has all happened over the weekend. So we'll just hope that things work out well. I'm not saying
we can't get to January 20th fast enough.
Right.
Oh my gosh, it just feels like everything is so slow and there's so much damage they can cause. We covered Hotez saying, oh yeah, on January 21st, there's going to be another pandemic. It's like, oh my God, get these people out, perp walk them out the door, grab their arm, gently nudge them out the door. Any resistance will be met with an equal and greater force. Like, God, I hate this lame duck period. I am so uncomfortable by it.
Should we send Peter Hotez to Syria? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. But Dina's saying since Finland joined NATO, Russia's building up armaments on their shared border. I mean, this could pop at any moment. I mean, the false flag is, the calling card of the globalist. So yeah, any major event, you always got to look at with suspicion. So I would even, urge caution with any time a rapper is accused of something salacious, and anytime a CEO is gunned down. These are salacious stories. These are high profile grabbing things. But while the shiny item's going like this over here, check the left side. It's the magician's number one thing. Distract, 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 and work with that hand over there instead. So I don't know. I don't know what is going to happen in Syria. I just know they were hell bent on messing Syria up under the last first two Obama terms. They're trying to wrap it up in their third Obama term with Biden as the puppet. And Deb is saying, yeah, it does feel like time is dragging and they're working behind the scenes to implement something. Ugh. Yeah. I feel it. I don't know how to help it, but we can talk about it.
Well, if they can get if they can get a war going, then I guess they could potentially stay in power longer than any of us want them to. But that's how it goes. So that's their strategy.
Yeah,
so I admire their evil, but I hope they fail.
I admire their gumption. However, I wish I would have chose a different course. All right. Well, I think that's all we have today. Blake, thanks for jumping in when my internet was cut out from us. But people, think about a world where your internet is cut out from you. And you're hearing about this strange new disease X coming out of the Congo. It's not that far to think. What if they cut off your communications? What if they turn your electricity off? 30 million sleeper cells sitting in here waiting, ready looking for direction. Just be ready. Have a plan. But yeah, even losing the internet for 10 minutes during a show. But it's a reminder that everything we have that's comfortable now could be totally different tomorrow. So just have a plan. Get a bug out bag. Get a protocol together. Just get a little bit more prepared than you were yesterday for anything. And if Lord willing, we can make it to January 20th, we're not done, but then we can maybe catch our breath and then go into the next phase. But the bad people are not going to stop being bad. They're going to keep going. They're just going to try new techniques. So be on the lookout. Deb is saying, yeah, it makes me nervous, but we got to pray more now than ever. Blake, would you like to lead us in a non-denominational prayer?
No, definitely not.
No?
No, I'm not a prayer guy necessarily. I'm not a religious guy so much. Yeah, I believe in the power of positive thinking, and I believe in prayer and whatever. But no, I'm not the guy that would lead the prayer circle. I'll politely nod my head. So go ahead, Brian. Why don't you do the praying? Because it's just not the way I roll, bro.
All right. So since Deb from Sacramento brings it up,
I'll be here for a long time. It's time for a coffee break. Usually I like these shows to be like 90 minutes. Otherwise I start getting a little too much. But here we are. So I'll try to stop yawning. I'm so close. But I'm going to have a nice big coffee break at some point before I get ready for the next show coming up in 3.5 hours, Toxically Masculine Tuesday, with Mike Barra, Dr. Brooks Agnew, Trail Boss, Steve Doran, and myself.
Yes, it's a good show. Some people call it the best roundtable on the entire internet. Okay, I'm going to say a word, if you will. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, Grand Architect of the Universe, Spirit, Universe, the powers that be, whatever you want to define that energy to be. Just asking for your continued guidance, continue to keep your angels close to us. Should we need your protection in a circumstance that we're unable to fully control ourselves? And if we do happen to find ourselves in the unfortunate position where we have to perhaps be like a Daniel Penny and try to step up and help for the good of the community, like the Marines teach, it's not a matter of not being scared, because we all get scared, but help us understand how to navigate that quickly and spring into action when jeopardy is at our doorstep. So please keep us steadfast in our mission. Keep us positive. Maybe I'll individually ask to help me find a way to refine my colorful language that can get so aggressive sounding at times, which can sometimes push people away in the conversation. But damn it, I like to use every color in the crayon box, and I got 64 of them, so I like using periwinkle blue sometimes. But anyway, all that being said,
reference? Okay.
Yeah, periwinkle blue. But all that being said, gratitude and appreciation for where I find myself at this stage in my life. I think back to the times I wished I could have had a lot of things right now that I do have. And so I'm going to choose to be grateful for the moment I have and not too concerned and too panicked or worried about what may happen in the future. Because let's face it, a lot of the shit that we worry about doesn't really come to fruition anyway. So let's use the most of our computational skills in our brain and our hearts to focus on the things that matter. And that's about leveling up our lives and becoming the best versions of ourselves that we can be. In your name we pray. Amen. So mote it be.
Amen. All right, I didn't want to interrupt during your mid-prayer, but I was just like, oh my God, am I supposed to have my eyes closed this whole time?
Where's a wrap it up button? Where did you get a wrap it up button? That's nice.
I made that like a year ago because I was like trying to get Brian to like, okay, let's wrap this up, or otherwise we're doing a marathon and every day is a 2-hour episode. But yeah, it's in the other page of the agree to disagree.
Okay. Oh, A2D2.
I made some backups. I kind of like that one.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Wow, that's okay.
What's this one?
That one's okay.
It's okay. All right. Well, anyway, yeah, I had some extras. But that was it. I was going to start doing a wrap it up, Ryan. Wrap it up. Let's okay. Anyway,
well, Blake, if you remember, I did put up your statistics about 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, and you're the one that continued the conversation. So let's not blame Brian for all of the overage. I had Blake Walley on Twitter. You can follow him at X. This was on the screen before Blake took us on this extra overtime.
Yep.
You didn't need over. I love overtime, but anyway, follow Blake on. Oh my gosh,
I have to do this for 5 hours every day, but I get 90 minutes. I'm starting to get.
Yeah, I'm not going to scream and yell like that first opening salvo at Liz Cheney and Kinzinger, but yeah, but I would do 5 hours a day, and I probably should. Deb is saying I love colorful language. Damn it, the effing applies. If it effing applies, use it. Yeah, I paint with the colors that I have for sure. But make sure you follow Blake. He paints with his colors on Twitter X. He's Dina is saying, God bless you guys. Call upon Jesus before it's too late. Love you guys. Yeah, I did. And then I got tired of church and annoyed with it. And then I left. And then I came back of my own free will and accord. And I found that on my own. And that's where I'm at now. But I haven't been like back to church in a while. Maybe I should go. God's got this, bros. I believe that too. Let me play one thing from Robert Kennedy on the way out the door. There was an interview I just saw, and it was a very nice clip. Oh, I shared it yesterday. Where did I share it? It was this lady interview. Hang on one second. RFK Jr. Courage interview, something. It's this lady. Where's this lady? Oh, this is the perfect way to end the show. If I could find it.
If you could only find it.
I'm scrolling. I can't. Oh, it's on latest, not top. Hold on. Okay, there's a lady, but that's not the one.
Well.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I can't. But a lady got emotional asking Bobby Kennedy about, you know, how he goes through and continues the fight with all the persecution and all the stuff coming at him. Like, this lady's very stressed. She's very frustrated. And Bobby had a very thoughtful answer. I can't find the damn thing. Maybe it was on my Instagram stories for the New American Media. I don't know. Follow us in all the places, but if you can look up that one, or if it scrolls across your timeline, tag us on X. Blake is at TV's Blake Walley. We are at American_media_Deb, saying Brian and Blake rock. Thank you so much. And anyone out there, if you want to assist Blake Walley in his journalism endeavors, of course, he's at thenextlevelnews.com. That's where the archive is. And there are 2 places you could show some appreciation to Blake. He is an independent journalist looking for some tips as a bartender like myself. He's on Venmo at Blake.
That's the word. Yeah, anyway, it's all good. All right.
And Cash App at $Blake W99. No, I mean, it all either helps or it doesn't. And you don't need to say it. I'll say
no pressure. No pressure
at all. Blake, all right, let me let you go. Thank you for jumping in when I got kneecapped over there for a hot minute in the middle there. Great job steering the ship while I was comatose until I got the smelling salts.
Brian was catatonic, right?
I know. At least not dogatonic. I am a catatonic guy, not a dogatonic guy. But anyway, Blake, everybody check out his show, Toxically Masculine, Tuesday tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern with all of the boys. Blake, thank you again. We'll talk soon, sir.
Thanks, Brian, and thanks everyone. Chad, Kenneth, Deb, Dina. Nice to meet Dina. All right. Well, let's look forward. We'll do it again Thursday.
Awesome. Be continued. Thank you, Blake.
Everybody. Thanks.
All right, there he goes, everyone. TV's Blake Walley. Now, if you want to, make sure hit like, hit subscribe, leave a couple comments. That engagement on the algorithm lets people know. It'll let X and Rumble and YouTube know that people watching are engaging, and engaging content is stuff that they'll recommend to other people. So please invite some people to join our show. Invite some people to like our stuff. Copy a link to one of our things and toss it to 10 of the smartest people you know. And go, hey. I like this show, and could you subscribe to their channel? Maybe check out a show. It's that word of mouth. We appreciate it. And we try to work your comments. Can't get all of them in, but as it's appropriate, we try to work them into the program. And I think it makes for a more interesting program. This is 2024. I don't want to get talked at. I want a conversation. I want to play tennis with someone that hits the ball back on the other side of the court. The best thing that came out of the internet in the late 90s, early 2000s, the comments section. The comments section has been that's where I go for info. I'm not going to get much out of a story written by a propagandist. I'm going to read some of the highest upvoted pieces of material to gauge the wisdom of the readers and see what they have to say. So, I mean, the discerning people that like our program, I hope you'll connect with us, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I told you the ways to follow Blake and how you could contribute there. But definitely the New American Media. If you don't have a Rumble account, start one and follow the New American Media first. It's like the old YouTube. I mean, we're monetized over there. YouTube took our monetization away right around the time we interviewed why am I the most interesting man in the world? Libertarian presidential candidate John McAfee. I had 4 names in my head, and I'm like, you got to move these names. These aren't the names. Like visually, the names were there. I'm like, nope. Ah, there it is. Yeah, right around the time we interviewed John McAfee, we lost our monetization on YouTube, and it's been a strange journey since. It's almost felt like, why even bother covering the news if we can't make a living doing it, if we can't earn, if we can't have ads playing. That was the ad apocalypse with what's the guy's name? PewDiePie. they realized, like NBC Universal and ABC, Disney, they all realized that the podcasters, the YouTubers were gaining the market share because nobody wanted to watch their shit anymore. It's trash. You know, and it's, if it was well-intentioned content, if they were aiming for accuracy and entertainment, but all it's been, it's just been gaslighting, rage bait, division, stupidity, terrible ideas, and outright lies. Nobody wants to watch that, but that's what YouTube did. They took away our ability to broadcast. They stopped recommending us when a topic came out. I remember Ariana Grande, there was a shooting at her concert. Whatever I was doing in the news cam, I'm like, oh, I went live right away. And I was like, hey, let me walk you through this. Here's what we know. Here's what's going on. Now let me talk to you about if you're going to be out in public this year. This is amidst the wave of the Obama terrorism, the Obama doctrine terrorism surge, because Obama and his ilk were definitely behind that global chaos. It's who they are. It's what they push. It's their agenda. I just reported on the scenario that happened, who, what, where, when, why at the concert. And I gave real information and advice, tips and strategies on what to do if you're at a concert. Set a rally point. If something goes chaotic, we meet at this lamppost. And if we can't make it here, there's our secondary location. Like vice versa. If we can't make it there, we'll come here. So here's two places. And if something goes on, there's the nearest emergency door, and here's how we get out of here. This was roughly on the heels of the Bataclan shooting with the Eagles of Death Metal. And I interviewed a member, what was it, Jesse from the Eagles of Death Metal at a NAMM convention in Anaheim. And I asked him about his experience at that terrorist attack. It was awful. I just did a story. One, because I'm giving you the who, what, where, when, why. Two, I'm giving you useful hints and help and tips and tricks. And YouTube demonetized it. Said that the content that I had, something didn't meet the criteria. Meanwhile, every suggested video on the right side of my screen, it was ABC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, covering the Ariana Grande shooting. And when I clicked on it, it played me an advertisement for Coca-Cola and Ford trucks. Fuck YouTube. Facebook, Instagram, all of them. All of you censors that have been trying to take away my ability to earn a living for 13 years. And it really is. If Blake wouldn't have gotten me back into this last year, was it last March? I don't know. I don't know if I would still be creating original independent content, such as the documentary. Check out our documentary, Hurricane Helene, Help on the Way. We went to North Carolina with Grizzly and stayed at his tattoo shop. Then we went 2 hours in from Southern Virginia through Tennessee into North Carolina to show you what's going on and what it really looks like. It's bad. You know, we went to every convention this year. Chicago for the Democrat convention. We went to Milwaukee for the Republican convention. I went to the Bronx and reported for the New American Media and Real America's Voice. Got on with Posobiec, and they used my content on Bannon's show right before they jailed him, right before they shot Trump. Went to the Libertarian Convention with Vivek and Bobby Kennedy coming and making their plea, saying, here's why you need to vote MAGA. And look, they all teamed up. Like, we covered history, and I'll be putting together a final project. I'm going to start working on it real soon to kind of show you where we've been, because we were in January 6, 2021. And we got some incredible footage, but, support matters. And so, I don't know. I think Blake reaching out kind of got me back into doing some shows, because it was kind of like, what's the point? But part of the point is having sites like Patreon. We're on patreon.com at the New American Media. That's a way that people can sign up and help us. We have some support over there. We'd love to have some more reoccurring stuff. Some of the viewers shoot things over, and man, you're appreciated more than you know. And whenever instructed and whenever it makes sense, I split that back up to other places. Like we got some donations to help with North Carolina, and I made sure that went to the people that needed the help. Grizzly got a nice donation check. or Venmo transfer, however it ended up going over. You know, and to help cover the expenses for North Carolina. Well, half of that went to Blake. Whenever it's earmarked, I will make sure it goes to the people that have to throw down. But yeah, there's a lot of ways to support independent media. And if you like the program, obviously patreon.com/The New American Media, Venmo at Brian Engelman, BrianEngelman, at PayPal. So that would be on PayPal at Fuzz Installment, at Fuzz, FUZZINSTALLMENT. Go on Facebook and you can search for TNAM's The Agree to Disagree Show. Spell it out exactly like that to find it. A lot of TNAM groups. TNAM Humor, TNAM Food and Drink, TNAM Grow Something, TNAM Preparedness, TNAM School Indoctrination Network, SIN. There's a lot of TNAM groups that we run, as well as the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. So find us on Facebook. We got active groups. It's just, I can't stream through Facebook for some reason. Don't know why. Well, I do know why, because Zuckerberg is a piece of trash and his company sucks. But luckily, we have Rumble now. Rumble's great. We are monetized. We're, you know, I have 1,600 videos over 13 years on the YouTube channel. I do not have that much on the Rumble account. So the views are not what they could be. But we're growing. We're growing. So there's that. And by the way, while we're doing the donation phase, let me just put this up. We've decided to sponsor Grizzly. We were able to elicit quite a few donations that I jam-packed my vehicle with and drove down with, and we donated to several locations along the way into North Carolina. But Grizzly is the person who's been organizing some of the help efforts down there. And he's someone we continue to support. So if you're on Cash App, he's at $Fabled Remedies, the number 1. FABLED, Fabled Remedies, REMEDIES, the number 1. So if any of you are feeling so inclined, we're on Truth Social, the New American Media, and also on Signal and Telegram, TNAM and TNAM Chat, TNAM and TNAM Chat on Signal and Telegram. Other good groups. We got plenty of backups. Oh, Spotify. Sign up for our podcast, the Agree to Disagree show on Spotify. But yeah, Fabled Remedies, the number 1. And just in the tagline, just say TNAM for North Carolina help. You know, TNAM just lets them know where it's come from. And then for North Carolina help lets them know, like, hey, here's for supplies. Here's for, you know, I mean, just the gasoline to take that vehicle from point A to point B, C, D, and E. You know, like, that's got to come from somewhere. And we were able to help once, and I'm definitely open to continuing to help, and maybe we'll go back again. I did talk to Blake about it. Maybe I'll get Grizzly back on the show for an update, but it's getting cold, and there's a lot of people that are really suffering in North Carolina, and you know, that's why I do what I do. I've always tried to illuminate stories that aren't getting enough attention. I've tried to offer unique, interesting, helpful perspectives, like the Ariana Grande story. I mean, I could just do 60 minutes on just giving you the who, what, where, when, why, but also let's talk about when you're out in public. If somebody commandeers a vehicle and starts mowing people down in the promenade, what's your plan? I was at a parade for the Cleveland Cavaliers championship in 2016. Guess what? There was a shooting and a stampede. I got lessons I could tell you about that scenario. It was jarring. That was right around the same time, if you can think back. Right at the Obama term 1 to term 2. He's sowing chaos all across the globe. So yeah, when I call for justice on Obama and the rest of these people, like, you know, you could have done almost anything you wanted around the globe if the purchase power of the dollar kept going up. If we had deflation, and it's like, oh wow, look at this, our money it's going so much further. We can all catch our breath. We're not all chickens running around with our heads chopped off. But no, Obama went after us instead, and he woke us all up. And maybe if it wasn't stolen in 2020, allegedly, You know, maybe America wouldn't be as activated as it is right now, with the red wave that was probably stolen from them in 2018 with some dirty tricks. Let's pass the SAVE Act and see if anyone ever votes blue ever again. But I try to offer unique insight. I try to highlight stories that need more attention. And I would love to do this as the main career thrust. But, you know, Blake, myself, look, life doesn't stop for anybody. And, you know, we all got bills to pay. So it's just a matter of how much time can we dedicate to our craft week to week, month to month, year to year, versus, you know, is there another course of action that should be handled? But that would take hours away from the craft, you know. But it really did feel sort of pointless for a while to create original content, knowing that nobody's going to get to see it. You can't pay your bills by doing it. You know, I've left breadcrumbs for 13 years of kicking ass and having a pretty awesome track record. A lot of jokes along the way, some humor, some laughs, unique insights, some average impersonations, but really just a nose for the news and trying to give you what's missing from the marketplace. When Chris Wallace came out and repeated the fine people hoax in the 2020 debate to try to knock Trump out, I haven't watched Fox since. I don't miss it. I catch clips on Gutfeld. Yeah, I like Gutfeld. I like a couple of their personalities, some of their shows. I don't trust them at all anymore. I just ask, have I ever given you a reason to not trust me, to not trust the new American media? No, I don't think I have. I don't think so at all. I think we've been sounding the alarm on danger for a very long time. Look at this graphic that we made. Now, should we get through January 20th without incident? I believe I have the inverse of that, those graphics, where it will show the upside down American flag, the flag of distress, indicating that we've been overthrown by an adversarial group. We've been taken over, which we have. Was it in 63 when they offed Kennedy? Did it happen in 2020 with Obama, Biden, Harris? I don't know. Were we ever the sovereign nation we thought we were? I don't know. But I do have the other graphic where the upside down flag of distress comes down. Oh, I wonder if that one even has cheering. I don't know. I've so rarely played that one. God, it's been a year and a half since I have no, I think there's cheering, that the war has been won and we've reclaimed our country. You know, I look forward to giving you that. But in the meantime, stay on high alert, level up, be aware of your surroundings. If you got to be Daniel Penny, you know, I used to say a prayer, dear Lord, I really don't want to ever have to discharge my firearm, and that's a story that I'll keep with me. But if I ever have to, keep my aim steady and true. Now, I mean, I've taken some courses, and in one of the gauntlets that I had to go through, I had to run and then drop down and shoot. Then I had to bear crawl and shoot. Then I had to run again and shoot. And when your heart's pumping and your breath is off and you're shaking, or your body's in that fight or flight mode, all the cortisol and all the adrenaline coursing through your veins, you know, you don't rise to the level of the occasion. That's the thing. Well, you know, I just like to think. Earlier today, I watched a Jordan Peterson video where he was talking about, you know, people read about World War II and you assume that you're going to be Schindler. You're going to be the Oscar Schindler. He goes, no, you weren't. Nobody was. You're turning on your neighbors. Look what you did in COVID. 30% of Canadians were more than giddy to turn in all of their neighbors for COVID nonsense. They wanted you locked indoors. They wanted you forced vaccinated. Like, these people are out of their fucking minds. These people are tyrants. They're dangerous. But you don't rise to the level of the severity of the situation. You fall to the level of your training. You don't rise to the severity of the situation. You fall to your level of training. So if you're not trained, have a plan. If you're at an Ariana Grande concert or at a Christmas light gathering in the town hall center, whatever, that somebody could grab a box truck and try to ruin 30 lives that day. You never know. Have a plan. Have a bug out bag. Save some money. Get some long-term storable food. Get some water filtration. Backup communications devices. Backup power generation devices. Security. You know, having a guitar in your closet doesn't make you a musician any more than having a gun in your drawer makes you a marksman. You got to practice. You have to know, you have to be proficient with your tools. So, you know, these are the things I'm passionate about. Back to Pulp Fiction. About being the shepherd, leading your blind ass through the valley of darkness. See, now I'd like to think that's true. But it ain't. You see, the truth is, I am the tyranny of evil men. And you, Ringo. It's been a while since I've seen it. I can't quote it entirely. But I do want to be a shepherd. I do want to guide the viewers through. I don't even know how to explain how much news we consume in order to find the most relevant stories, to give you the proper context, to try to have a fairly reasonable understanding that our interpretation of the events are as close to accurate as possible. I have never intentionally lied to you about a single story. I've chosen to not cover some stories or not cover some stories as much. Maybe it's because I don't necessarily know how I feel about it. Maybe it's because I don't necessarily think that how it's being reported is accurate. You know? So if I'm omitting certain stories, I'm choosing to not focus on that. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm misleading anybody at all, because I haven't. I've never taken a story and tried to change the situation to make it more appealing to me or my personal stock portfolio or my personal ethnic or religious or, you know, different things about me. It takes a lot to sift through to try to get you as close to a, you know, it's like we try to triple distill our vodka around here at the New American Media. Blake's been a bartender. I've been a bartender. The name of my other show is literally called The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Trying to get my cat to jump up here. Come on. Come. Jump. Nimbus. Will he jump? He's not jumping. Come on. Anyway, I try to triple distill my vodka around here. And that takes time. And time is money. And, you know, I love the New American Media. I love the Agree to Disagree show. And we like to continue to grow. And all of your support is super appreciated. Every bit of it is super appreciated. Let me just buzz through the comments here, and then I'll wrap this up. I was just having a bit of an epiphany. All right, so Deb says, see you tonight for 6 at 6 for TMT. That's not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's Toxically Masculine Tuesday. And that's 6 p.m. Pacific time. It's 9 p.m. Eastern. Here's Nimbus. Look, you're on camera, buddy. Here, let's see your face. Let's see your face. Do you believe in familiars, spirits, spirit animals that follow you? I think I've had Nimbus before. I called him Smokey when I was a younger man. Smokey lived a nice long life and passed eventually. And Nimbus has been with me for a long time, and he's lived a nice, great life as well. But he's a familiar. Looks the same, acts the same. And he's like my guide. It's like you refresh in the afterlife. You go into that waiting room, and then you get reborn, and then you're back. You're a kitten, and here you are again, hanging out with me. He just likes these head rubs right there by the ears. Yes, and Blake is leaving. Dina says World War III winner will have ashes in his mouth. Yeah. What did Einstein say? I don't know how they're going to fight World War III, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. Yes, positive vibes to Blake. Yeah, Blake is going to grab a coffee, make it a whole breakfast. He'll have Blake and eggs. Bacon and eggs. I do the nose kiss with my cat. There to there. And he understands it too. Like it's very cute. Yeah, Stud Muffin Central. Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Dina saying great discussions. Thank you, Dina. I don't recall you being around here before. Please hit subscribe to the New American Media and Blake Walley's YouTube channels. Let's see. Call upon our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Goodbye, y'all. Amen. Amen, bro. God's got this. Okay. God bless you guys. Call upon Jesus for it's too late. There we go. Deb saying wrap it up with a big effing bow. LOL. Gone, but not gone. Yeah, that is kind of where I'm at now. I'm gone, but not gone. We've ended the show, but we have not ended the show. This is the overtime. Flip the clip. Dina saying Jesus is a personal relationship, not the traditions of church. It's you and Jesus. Blake Centerfold Wally. Thanks, Deb. Great show today, guys. Appreciate you. Oh, Kenneth, looking for some tail. Yes, cats do rock. Is this one purring? I don't think he's purring right now. He's hungry. He's ready for his dinner. T-Nam I am. Sam I am. Green eggs and ham. Bacon and eggs. Yes, I'm right that it does. Engagement and reciprocity on social media. T-Nam with salad. T-Nam and I can. T-Nam you can. T-Nam Nana 19. T-Nam Nana 19. Deb, I need you to elaborate. What do you mean? Brian's brain is like a Pentium chip. Is that a good thing? Should I be Lenovo? Or what's the name of that other one? Yes, it's a big one, not Intel. What's the one in Taiwan? Or I don't know. What's the name of the chip company? Deb, how is Brian's brain like a Pentium chip? Pentium chip. A Taco Grande. Hey, Taco Grandes are delicious. Bye for now. All right. Oh, okay. Kenneth sent some music to the P.O. box. Awesome. Let me jot down here. I almost went to the P.O. box for another reason. I don't check it usually. Sent a whole bunch of music. Interesting. Thank you. I don't have bills to pay. Yeah, I used to sing about bills to pay. Like in my head, I got bills to pay, I got mouths to feed, and ain't nothing in this world for free. You know, we can't slow down, we can't hold back. No, you know, we wish we could. You know, there ain't no rest for the wicked until we close our eyes for good. Yeah. I always sing it as bills to pay. Like he's got his hairpiece. Oh, Billy. Billy. Oh, Billy. What movie is that from? Oh, Billy. If you guessed Caddyshack, you were right. Road Rage 1969. What's up, Road Rage 1969? Saying the world has been taken over by the Central Bank Cartel. Did that happen in 1913 off Jekyll Island? Woodrow Wilson. I know. Kitty Bobo. Man, he just meowed so weird over there. He's super hungry. I'm going to go feed him. Dina, thank you so much. Dina Rona, I subscribed. Did you subscribe to both YouTube channels? Blake Walley has one, and then the New American Media is the other. So you should hit both. And if you're not on Rumble, please go out, get a Rumble account. It's like the old YouTube before Google screwed it up. Like I said, we're actually monetized over there, and I like putting the content there. But thanks for subscribing. Dina feeds feral cats in her neighborhood. That's how I got Nimbus. I lived in Los Angeles. Once again, stepping up to do the stuff that I didn't see other people doing. We had to paint all of our buildings, treat for termites, vacate all the cats out from under 25 of our buildings, 216 units. And we did a trap neuter return program on about 135 cats. I think at one point I had like 15 in my care, and I fostered and found forever homes for most of them. And I'm down to 2 right now. Several years removed from living in Los Angeles, but Nimbus was found by a neighbor, Donald. Hey, Brian, there's a cat in the laundry room. It kind of sounds like him too. I wish you could have met him. Soon coming, Elon's chip. Yes. Yeah, I know. I'm good. I don't have an interest in putting that chip in my head. I'm good. Ken is saying he might not make Thursday's show for the dentist. You have the dentist appointment at 3, or you have 3 fillings or 3 dentists. Okay. Yeah. Hey, look, if you can't make it for the live, look, we'll be after, or jump in halfway through, whatever works, Kenneth. It's all good. It's always appreciated to have the regulars. This is a bar. Pull up your chair. Come on into the bar. Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog. Woof. Do you remember that? Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog. Oh, you have 3 cats. Sir, cat, sir. You have 3 cats. Yeah, cat people are built different. I think it's fair to say. Cat people are good people. You know, dogs are cool. I've just always been a cat guy. But for now, I'm going to be a done guy. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Subscribe, hit like, do all the things. Find us, Spotify podcast, everything that I mentioned. Thanks to Blake Walley. Check out his Toxically Masculine Tuesday show tonight. And then also be sure. Remember that Seinfeld where he's like itching the side of his nose, but like the person in the car that he's dating thinks that he's knuckle deep? No, it was a scratch. It was an itch. It wasn't a... Well, you know, whatever he says. I'll have some truth on the rocks. I'm going to make it a double, Kenneth. Here's your double. All right, I'm out on the double. I appreciate you. I love you. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care.